looks like it could be a sellout here tonight for the final regular season home game. Of course, this is also a preview as to what the Kings and Oilers will be doing next week in the Stanley Cup playoffs in round one, a best-of-7 affair that begins Wednesday night at the Northlands Coliseum. Out for the Kings to take the draw, Bobby Carpenter, Mark Messier for the Edmonton Oilers. And here with the first period, Bob Miller.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. As Bobby Carpenter cruises in now and gets ready for the opening face-off, and off the draw it comes to the Oiler line, and Rayo roots the line, and with it roots the line and passing up to his own blue line to Messier. His pass on the left wing to Glenn Anderson. Anderson tips it behind the King net, tipped away by Melanson, but he has trouble with a pass in front, score by the Oilers. Right off the bat, the Kings had trouble with it, and it came right out in front to Mark Messier, or to Kent Nilsson, and Kent Nilsson right in front of an empty net. And he scores 12 seconds after the opening faceoff. Melanson went behind the net. Anderson chased the puck back there, and Melanson tried to clear it back in the corner, but it was taken away and passed right out in front by Anderson to Kent Nilsson. He was alone in front with an empty net, and the Oilers lead it 1-0.
Well, right there we saw the speed of Glenn Anderson. He got in the zone before any of the Kings skaters, and he pressured Rolly Melanson.
Puck comes down into the King zone and swept away by Rolly Melanson back out to center ice, but the Oilers drive it right back in. Here is Kent Nilsson with it again. His pass on the right side to Glenn Anderson. Anderson behind the King net, around the left side, centers it, score! Kent Nilsson again! Oh, what an awful way to start against the team you're going to meet in the playoffs next week. The Oilers have scored 2 quick goals, and Kent Nilsson got it again. His second goal of the night, took a pass right out in front, and the Oilers lead 2-0.
Well, again, they got in the zone quickly, and again, Anderson used his speed. He cut behind the net, centered in front, and all alone was Kent Nilsson. A nice little deke with 2 Kings watching, Ledyard and Carpenter, and Melanson gets beaten again. Anderson utilizing his outstanding speed to set up both goals by Kent Nilsson. Both of them relatively easy for any shooter.
I guess so, and the Kings just off to a terrible start in their own zone. Picking up right where they left off the other night in that 8-3 loss when they allowed 49 shots on goal by the Vancouver Canucks. Kings have got to get their act together. This is a brutal start. Puck is taken down by Tiger Williams. He clears it out to center. Steve Smith back together for the Oilers. Well, if anybody's out to show that they have the dominant team coming into the playoffs, the Oilers have started out, and they're giving signs that they are dominant. No doubt about it. Here they come again. Shot by Smith is wide to the left. Melanson flips it up against the right wing boards to Bernie Nichols. Nichols ahead to Tiger Williams. Williams to Butsy Erickson. Erickson across the line. Tried to go between the defense. Can't do it. Steve Smith with it for the Oilers. 2-0. The Oilers scored twice in the first minute of play. Puck comes all the way back down to the King blue line. Kennedy with it. He gives it to Bernie Nichols. Nichols shoots it into the Oilers zone. 18-13 to go in the first period. We got a penalty coming up against the Oilers. Yari Curry, I believe, is going to go for tripping Dave Taylor. 2-0 Oilers. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Dave Taylor, Curry a 54-goal scorer in the box, but the Kings have to get the power play cranked up right now because they're already down 2-0. Power play has been more than effective the last 5 games, 46%. Kings down 2-0. Goals by Nilsson at 12 seconds and 42 seconds.
Now Wells shooting from the blue line, and a save made. Puck comes in the left wing corner and flipped high in the air and held in by Taylor against the left wing boards into Jimmy Carson. Carson goes behind the net, trying to give it to Robitaille. Robitaille into the left wing corner of the Oilers zone, trying to get it to Taylor, but the Oilers fall down on top of the puck. And we draw the whistle as Charlie Huddy fell down on it. This is an official copyrighted broadcast of the California Sports and the Los Angeles Kings. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use of the accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Kings is prohibited. The announcers are selected and employed by California Sports. 2 goals in 30 seconds by Kent Nilsson. And the Oilers with a 2-0 lead. Puck is cleared out to center ice by Edmonton, but taken by the Kings again on the power play. Robitaille with 44 goals on the year, trying to give it to Carson. Tipped away. Here's Jay Wells at center ice. He gets it to Dave Taylor. Taylor bumped there, so the Oilers not only scoring, but they're hitting also here in the first period. Kings hold it in on the power play. Here's Ledyard to the right side. Ledyard, top of the circle, goes in deep into the corner. Ledyard trying to give it to Taylor. Tipped away from him. Oilers with it, and it's cleared out to center ice and back down into the Kings zone. Back in the Kings zone, it's picked up now, and the Kings starting from right to left as you join us on radio and TV. Here's Robitaille with it now. Robitaille across the Oiler line. He's checked, puck taken away by Craig Muni, and he clears him. Never seen a team, Nick, with goaltenders that get in so much trouble going behind the net. Have you?
Yeah, and right there, it wasn't really because Melanson isn't good with the puck around his net. It's just that Edmonton had probably their quickest and fastest skater out there, Anderson, on both goals to pressure the goaltender.
In the Kings zone with 37 seconds to go on the power play. Pass up to Bobby Carpenter at center. Now to Bernie Nichols. To Carpenter, left wing. He shoots. It's deflected up into the crowd. Craig Muni, defenseman for the Oilers, got his stick on it and deflected Carpenter's shot up into the crowd.
Little give and go outside the blue line, and Carpenter going down the left boards took the return feed from Bernie Nichols. Nichols tried to draw both defensemen. Carpenter let the shot go from the top of the left circle, but it went off one of the Oilers' sticks and over the glass and out of play. Bobby Carpenter in 8 games since the trade has a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Carpenter out there at center ice with Bernie Nichols, Brian Erickson, Mark Hardy, and Steve Duchesne. Totals for the season: Carpenter 26 points, and Carpenter is playing in his 59th game.
Kings have 31 seconds left to go in the power play, the top power play in the NHL, and the Kings are down 2-0. Off the draw in the Oilers zone. Carpenter again. He passes in front and just off the stick there of Butsy Erickson. Oilers come back to their own blue line and sent out to center ice by Messier. Kings with it. Hardy to Duchesne, to Erickson, to Carpenter. Carpenter across the line, fires it down the left side behind the net. Moog stops it there, and it's cleared off the glass and back down into the Kings zone with only 8 seconds up to go in the penalty to Yari Curry.
Again, killing the penalty. The Oilers aggressive, and they've got great skaters, and that's one of the reasons why not only do they kill penalties well, but they get a lot of shorthanded goals.
They had the Nichols right wing in front. He shoots. He scores! Nichols took a nice pass, came down the right side of the slot, and then held onto it till he got to a fairly steep angle on the right side and flipped it up over the glove of Moog for Nichols' 33rd goal of the year. And it's the Oilers 2, the Kings 1.
Bernie Nichols great with that puck. He was sent in all alone with a good headmanning pass at the blue line. He split the defenseman, went in and deked to his forehand and put it in up high over the glove hand of Andy Moog. The goal at 3:56.
He took a nice pass from Steve Duchesne, who put it right on Bernie's stick. Now an icing call against the Kings as the puck comes down into the Oilers zone. 2-1 Oilers, first period. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
19:44 left in the first period. Nelson twice before the game was a minute old, and Bernie Nichols has just scored at 3:56 from Duchesne and Hardy. Oiler record for fastest goal at the start of the game, 8 seconds, by none other than Wayne Gretzky. So Nilsson missed that by 4 seconds.
Gretzky and Coffey not playing tonight. Here's Bukaboom at the right point of the Kings zone for the Oilers. He drives it down the right wing corner, taken away by Dean Kennedy. Kennedy's pass to Joe Patterson, tipped away from him, held in now by Pozar. Pozar's pass on the right wing to Kevin McClellan. His drive deflects wide. Left point, shot by Hubby, deflects wide to the right and taken by Joe Patterson. Patterson can't clear it. Bukaboom holds it in. Comes around behind the King net. Kennedy with it. He lost it there. Oilers with it again. Now it's sent out toward the front of the net, tipped away from Pozar by Laidlaw. Laidlaw knocks Pozar down, for the Oilers hold it in. McSorley's pass taken away by the Kings, and Bourne clears it out to center and back to the Oiler line.
Again, Bob, a good job by the forwards of Edmonton getting into that zone and putting pressure on the Kings defensemen.
2-1 first period. Oilers ahead. They scored 2 goals in the first 30 seconds, but the Kings have come back on a goal by Bernie Nichols. Now at the blue line of the Oilers, Taylor with it, but he's offside, and right of the whistle gets a pretty high stick from Bukaboom. And Do we get a penalty here or not? We may have.
It was right at the whistle as Bookaboo number 6 got the stick up high, and he clipped Taylor on the left side of his helmet.
Yeah.
And he's going to get a high sticking penalty. I think once he made contact with Taylor on the head, helmet, whatever, that's what determined Ron Hogarth in calling the penalty. So the Kings go right back on the power play. The time of this penalty will be at 5:09. Len Sather, head coach for the Oilers, to his right, one of his assistants, John Muckler. Or is he a co-coach? I guess I don't know what they term the two of them, but they've been very effective as a tandem. And of course, we'll also give some credit to their third coach, Teddy Green, who returned this year.
All right, Kings with a chance to tie it up after an awful start. But look out, the Oilers, as Nick has said, they are aggressive killing penalties and usually lead the league in shorthanded goals, and that's the case again this season. Up to center now. Here's Grant Ledyard for the Kings. He drives it in just wide of the net. Puck is driven off the boards to center. Picked up now by Messier down the left wing. His pass up the middle to Kent Nilsson. Poke checked away in the Kings zone by Jay Wells. Now Taylor to Wells. Wells to the red line. Wells to the Oiler line. Right wing to Carson. In front. His pass to Taylor. Robitaille scores! The pass hit Jimmy Carson in the back, but it fell right in front of the net, and King rookie Luc Robitaille was right there to scoop it up. Carson flipped it from the top of the right circle, hit Taylor, but Robitaille came by in front, moving to his right, and just backhanded it in for his 45th goal of the year, and the game is tied 2-2.
45th goal of the season. Robitaille gets the power play tally. Bob, the Oilers a victim of their aggressiveness, killing that penalty. And now we get another penalty. Mike Krushelnyski is going to the penalty box, but Nilsson and Messier, if you remember, carried the puck down offensively on a 2-on-2. The drop pass from Messier to Nilsson connected, but then Nilsson had it poked away, and the Kings turned up ice and quickly shot the puck, and they just outnumbered the Oilers on that line rush. And now the Kings go right back on the power play.
Nick, we mentioned explosive games by these two teams, and I guess that you could say that's an understatement. Remember in 1982, first game of the playoffs, 18 goals were scored in that game. Kings won at 10-8. Here we've had already 4 goals scored and played only 6 minutes of the game. Kings on the power play again. Puck is in the Kings zone. Ledyard with it. He's chased by McTavish. Robitaille and Carson now have a point in 9 straight games. Up to center. Here is Ledyard driving it into the Oilers zone. Kings on the power play. Puck is behind the net. And Moog loses it. Pass in front of Carson, but it went behind him. They tried to get it over to Jimmy Carson on the left side as Robitaille tried to give it to him. Robitaille takes it away. Oiler blue line to Carson. His pass right side to Ledyard, but it comes off the boards out to center ice. Taken away. Breakaway. Looking for a shorthander in front. Shot, score! Oilers with a short-handed goal as they took the puck away. Dave Hunter stealing it and puts the Oilers ahead with a short-handed goal. He had a breakaway as he stole Ledyard's pass, and the Oilers lead 3-2.
Well, Ledyard got himself in trouble because he backtracked, was turning and skating towards his side of center ice, and then what happened, Hunter just kept going right after Ledyard, and Ledyard looked up and he saw Hunter, and he tried to pass across the ice onto the near side, but Hunter deflected it, picked it up, and went right down. Melanson got a piece of it. So we've had 5 goals, and this game isn't even 7 minutes old. A shorthanded goal for the Oilers. That's their 28th shorthanded goal of the season. They hold the NHL record, shorthanded goals in one campaign, with 36 3 years ago. So Hunter at .632 shorthanded. Kings still have the power play, another 120 left on Krushelnyski's penalty.
Yeah, you really like to tighten up going into the playoffs, huh, Nick?
Just think, Gretzky and Coffey aren't even playing.
Oh. 3-2 Oilers. They had 2 goals in the first 30 seconds. Kings came back on goals by Nichols and Robitaille to tie it, and Hunter scores shorthanded.
Bob, 5 goals, 7 shots on goal.
Puck taken now at the King blue line. Kings still with a power play. Here's Duchesne's pass. Now comes over to Nichols. Nichols drives it in the Oilers zone. Back behind the net. Moog cuts it off there, and it's put up on the boards and around all the way down into the Kings zone by Kevin Lowe. Kings back to get it. Here's Hardy's pass up to Bobby Carpenter on the left wing. Carpenter wraps it hard around the boards. Lowe intercepts. He's bumped by Butsy Erickson on the right wing boards. Erickson gets help now. Puck taken by Nichols. Up the middle to Hardy. Hardy left point. Hardy's pass in front. Tipped, and Carpenter's shot is stopped by the goaltender Moog as Bobby Carpenter deflected the pass by Hardy, but Moog made the glove save.
Well, Carpenter shot it in, and they outnumbered the Oilers. Got it back to Hardy. Hardy took a soft shot. He knew Carpenter was in front. Carpenter got a pretty good piece of it, but redirected it right into the midsection of Andy Moog, and Moog stayed with it all the way. Juggled, but held on.
Faceoff will be to the right of the goaltender Moog. 3-2 Oilers, and a wild start to this game. This is the final game of the season for the Oilers. Kings with it. Here's Carpenter. Backhander is wide. He took a pass, but then was a little off balance. Got the backhander wide. Butsy Erickson with it. Kings have 27 seconds to go on the power play. Here's Carpenter shooting, and a save by Moog. Carpenter on the right side. Now Erickson with it. Around to Bernie Nichols. Left wing side. Oilers zone. Nichols still with it. Nichols pass. Back into the corner to Carpenter. Oilers zone. He spun around and knocked down. And the Oilers fall on the puck again and draw the whistle.
Good thing the Oilers stopped play, Bob, because if Carpenter spins away from that check on the near side, he has two Kings all alone in front. Duchesne along with Erickson. Mark Messier enjoying one of his best, if not his best, season in the National Hockey League this year. Needs 1 point to tie his career best, 106 back in 82-83. His totals this year, 37 goals, 68 assists for 105 points. Mark Messier, who's played wing and center in his 8-year NHL career.
Now off the draw, Kings with it again. Nichols to the left point to Hardy. To Nichols in the slot. Right side. Duchesne shoots. Save off the stick of Moog. Kings are finished on the power play now. The Oilers back at full strength. Here they come 2-on-1. Here's Messier. Down the left side. Pass over on the left side to Kruzhelnyski. And it gets away from him. Kings come back 3-on-2. Here's Nichols across the line to Carpenter. To Nichols. He shoots. And a save by Moog and a rebound. Erickson gets stopped by Moog. Butsy Erickson right on the doorstep at the left point. Laidlaw holds it in to Nichols. Nichols bumped against the bumped in the left wing corner, and the Oilers come back to center ice. Puck rolls down into the Kings zone. Oilers will change up on the fly.
Bob, this is like watching two NBA teams practice the fast break for 30 minutes.
Puck is driven all the way down to the Oilers zone. Moog tips it away, taken by Bob Bourne of the Kings. Bourne left wing corner. He's checked there. He goes into the corner. He's bumped by Tikkanen. Bourne gives it to Patterson. Patterson to the right point now. Kennedy with it. He shoots just wide to the left. Puck comes off the boards. Oilers with it. Here's Jari Kurri. Kurri second in the NHL in scoring to Tikkanen. Back to Kurri. Kurri's pass. Tikkanen left side. In front alone. Shot saved by Melanson as he beats Kruzhelnyski at the blue line. Bukaboom. His pass left side to Hubby with a drive, and it's wide. Kruzhelnyski with it again. He was all alone in front as the Oilers did some beautiful passing, and now the puck is whistled dead because we've got a penalty coming up here against the Kings. Holding against Joe Patterson. 3-2 Oilers. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
A videotape that guarantees original...
First penalty, Joe Patterson for holding at 9:07 after they had a great chance in front. Mike Kruzhelnyski. Oiler power play, 7th in the NHL at 22+%. Kings penalty killing, 21st. That's last in the NHL, and it looks like the Kings, for the 5th time in the last 6 years, will finish last in the league in penalty killing.
Kings win the draw, and it's cleared down into the Oilers zone. The Oilers got their big guns out here. Ruotsalainen and Nielsen at the point. Kurri, Messier, and Anderson up front on the power play. 3-2 Oilers lead. First period. Puck comes behind the King net. Melanson sweeps it around to Bourne. Anderson takes it away. Anderson with it to the right point to Reijo Ruotsalainen. Back to Anderson on the right wing. Anderson on the power play. Passes down in the corner to Messier. Back to the blue line to Ruotsalainen. He almost lost it. He holds it right on the line. Gives it down to Messier. Now to Anderson. His pass to Kurri. Broken up, and Bourne clears it for the Kings. Kings change penalty killers. Duchesne and Laidlaw come out in defense while Sykes and Butsy Erickson are out up front. 1:15 to go on the penalty to Joe Patterson. Oilers drive it into the Kings zone behind the net. Melanson stops it, tried to clear it, and hit the stick of Anderson. Anderson holds it in for the Oilers. His pass on the left side now to Jari Kurri. Here's Kurri with it to the blue line to Kent Nielsen. Back to Kurri left side. Kurri waits in the circle. Comes back to the top of the circle. Still with it now. Kurri to Messier, left wing corner. Messier to Kurri, left side. Kurri into the slot. Kurri still with it. Up the middle it goes to Nielsen, to Ruotsalainen at the right point. Ruotsalainen with it over to Kurri. Shooting. He hit the boards, and it comes out on the left side. It's cleared up to center ice and back into the Oilers zone.
Well, the Calgary Flames aren't the only team in the NHL that like to one-time it on the power play.
Kent Nilsson, 2 goals already tonight. We're in the first period. Nilsson with it. He gives it down to Steve Smith. Back to Kent Nilsson. They've changed on the power play. Here's Nilsson down the left side, up the middle to Smith. His shot deflected behind the King net. Picked up by Glenn Anderson, left wing side. Anderson still with it, out to the blue line. Here's Steve Smith. His pass broken up now, and Duchesne is pulled down. No penalty. Bourne knocked down at center ice. Bourne gets it back, though, to Gay. Now to Laidlaw. Now to Bourne. Now to Gay at the King line. 5 seconds ago in the King penalty, and Laidlaw sends it across the red line. Intercepted by Yaroslav Pozar to Curry. Curry tips it in the King zone. Kings are back at full strength. Still trailing 3-2. Pass by Laidlaw to center ice. Kings changing on the fly. Puck comes all the way down to the Oilers zone. 8:43 to go in the first period. 5 goals already scored. Bobby Carpenter takes it away behind the Oiler net, but he tried to roll it out in front of the goaltender. Moog covered up, and now we've got Craig Muni pushing with one of the Kings.
Carpenter stole the puck from Muni, and then at the whistle, Muni dumps McKenna. Now Carpenter battling, who is that, with Smith or Smith, I think it is. So pushing and shoving well after the fact. Looked like just a harmless little save, but McKenna was standing around, and I really think Sean lost his balance after he was bumped by Muni, after the bad pass by Muni behind his net. And everybody's still grabbing and tussling. They've separated Carpenter, and he's being escorted to the penalty box. But quite a few of the players still having words. McKenna, along with one of the other Kings. 3-2. The Oilers are in front midway through the first period. We'll be back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network. Smith of the Oilers for roughing. So both clubs remain at full and equal strength with 8:37 left in the first period. Oilers in front 3-2. 2 goals by Nilsson before the game was a minute old. Then Hunter shorthanded, and in between those, Nichols and Robitaille. Nichols with number 33 and Luke with his 45th.
Now Bukaboom back in his own zone. Oilers come to center. They're moving left to right. Here's Marty McSorley on the right wing. He drives it into the King zone. Dean Kennedy takes it off the boards. He spins into the corner. Now plays it up the right side to Sean McKenna. McKenna goes all the way back behind the King net again. He stops there. Good forechecking by the Oilers again, but nice stick handling by McKenna. He gets it over to Kennedy. He tried to give it to Robitaille, but it's out of his reach. Comes all the way down to the Oilers zone, and Charlie Huddy in to get it. He's bumped in the corner by Robitaille. Here is Kevin McClellan for the Oilers. Up to center ice now. It's taken by Bukaboom. Bukaboom flips it down into the King zone, and Bob Bourne chases in for it. Bourne bumped up against the boards. Oilers hold it in. Pass right through the slot. Going to be intercepted by McKenna. Here's Sean McKenna. He comes up to center, and he gives it to Robitaille, the King line. Now taken by Kennedy. Here's Dean Kennedy to the Oiler line. Right side. Kings changing on the fly. Kennedy's got no help right now. He backhands it. It's knocked out of the air with a high stick by the Oilers. And when they play it, the whistle blows. 3-2 Oilers lead in the first period. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
7 left in the first period when Hunter scored shorthanded. We mentioned that was the Oilers' 28th shorthanded goal of the season, tops in the NHL. Kings have now allowed a total of 15 shorthanded goals, and half of them have been scored by the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, they are Smythe rivals. I know Coffey has 2 or 3. Curry has a couple of them.
Now play underway again as Tiger Williams has it. Right wing boards, Oilers zone, but it rolls away from him. Oilers come to center, almost have the 2-on-1, but Duchesne intercepted. Duchesne shoots, and just wide to the right side. Duchesne intercepted the pass, which would have been a 2-on-1, and his shot just went wide. Oilers again. Rips the line and across the line. Lost it. Kings trying to clear it, though, and they do. Up to center. Here's Butsy Eriksson on the right wing. Eriksson shoots it into the Oilers zone. Oilers lead at 3-2. They had a 2-0 lead. Kings tied it at 2, and then the Oilers took the lead on a shorthanded goal. Here is Laidlaw for the Kings, driving it into the Oilers zone. Puck comes around and off the boards into the slot. Butsy Eriksson chases it down. Kevin Lowe with it for the Oilers. Lowe in his own zone, lifts it high in the air out to center ice. Puck taken there by Mark Hardy. Hardy up ahead to Tiger Williams. Here's Tiger ahead to Nichols down the right side. Nichols tried to get it over to Taylor, but it was tipped. Tiger Williams with it. Nichols is at center with Williams and Taylor on the wings. Puck is against the left wing boards. Oilers zone. Dug out by Tiger Williams. He's bumped in the left wing corner by Lowe. Williams still with it. Williams tried to roll it in front to Taylor. And a save by Moog. Oh, how did he get that one? It looked like it was going in. And Moog knocked knocked it down, and now we've got Tiger Williams in a wrestling match with
Is it Steve Smith again?
hard to see. We can't see any identification of the Oiler player. Jeff Bukaboom, number 6.
I think, Bob, that shot in front, who was it, Taylor, went off Moog and then hit the underside of the crossbar and then dropped back to Dave Taylor and Andy Moog. Williams behind the net gets racked by Bukaboom, but he works the puck in front. Nichols battles, and it squirts free to Taylor. Taylor tries to go up high. It goes off the blocker and goes off the crossbar. Then one of the Oilers' sticks bats it out of midair, and it drops right in the pads of Andy Moog. What a break for Moog, and we get more penalties. Bukaboom and Tiger Williams are going to go to the penalty box. Dave Taylor, and he would have liked to get that goal for the newcomer and his family, wouldn't he?
Yeah, they were parents for the second time. Wife Beth gave birth to an 8-pound, 3-ounce daughter, Katie, on Thursday afternoon at 1:11 in the afternoon.
So in the penalty box, defenseman Jeff Bukaboom. The penalties are at 13:34 here in the first period, and Tiger Williams, the other Dave, on the ice for the Kings, and they each get 2 minutes for roughing. 3-2. The Oilers are in front in a somewhat intense, fast-paced, offensive-minded first period.
Nick, I was going to say, I think the pace of the game is probably good for the Kings to get used to this, because that's what's going to happen here on Wednesday night, or I should say in Edmonton Wednesday night. Now off the draw, the Kings went up behind the net. Sykes lost his stick. He tried to kick it out in front. It's taken away. Carson with it in front, and Taylor couldn't get a shot. Oilers come back 3-on-2. Laidlaw and Hardy back for the Kings. Oilers with it. Left side. Nielsen looking for the hat trick, and a save by Melanson. Pass out in front, intercepted by the Kings. Sykes with it. He clears it out to center ice. Back down to the Oiler blue line now. 3-2 Oilers lead. They send it all the way down in the Kings zone. Stopped by Melanson. Now Laidlaw fans on his pass. Oilers with a shot and a save by Melanson. On the shot from right in the slot by Glenn Anderson. Left point, low with a drive. Deflects off the boards, taken by Phil Sykes. Up the center, 3-on-3. Sykes shoots it into the Oilers zone. Kings are going for a line change. Boy, that line out there with Nielsen and Anderson and Messier, they have really given the Kings fits already.
A lot of speed.
Kings lose it at the blue line, but offside is Glenn Anderson. A little too fast that time. 3-2 Oilers lead first period. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
As for both clubs, are getting the good scoring opportunities.
Face-off outside the King line, and the Oilers' Kevin Lowe fires it high over the King net. It bounces off the glass and down to Jay Wells. Wells passing up the right side. Kings come back to center. Puck is tipped away, though, on Duchesne's pass. Wells with it again. His long pass into the Oilers' zone, and the goaltender Andy Moog stops it. 5:05 left to go in the first period. Bob Miller with Nick Nixon. Kings are down 3-2. Here come the Oilers again. Pass on the right wing to Yari Curry. Curry across the line. Puck is poked away, and it bounces off the body of Sean McKenna. The Kings out to center ice. Ruotsalainen with it for the Oilers. He came over from the New York Rangers after he went to Europe first and then came back. The Oilers had his rights. Kings taking away their own blue line. 3-on-2. Here's Carpenter now down the left side into the slot. Carpenter right side backhander in front, and Robitaille with his back to the net tried to tip it in. It was knocked away, and the net gets knocked off the magnets.
Good job, Bob, by Bobby Carpenter. He turned at center ice, and he stayed wide. He stayed along the left wing. He got it in the zone with a 3-on-2. Cut into the middle and backhanded one in front to Robitaille, who was all alone. And a great bit of deflecting the puck with his back to the net by Robitaille. He tipped it between his legs, again with his back to the net, forcing Moog, who was obviously screened by Robitaille, to react very quickly. 4 goals.
4:36 to go in the first period. Kings down 3-2, but they seem to have settled down a little bit after an awful start. They gave up 2 goals in the first 30 seconds. Puck on the faceoff won by Bob Bourne, held in by Joe Patterson. He throws it behind the Oiler net. Oilers moving left to right. Here's Steve Smith. He sends it around to the right point. Dean Kennedy will intercept for the Kings. Kennedy's pass to Paul Gay. Gay tips it down the right wing corner. It's taken away now by Craig Muni. Muni up to Krujolniski for the Oilers, and they come to center. Pass on the left wing side, broken up as it rolls away from Messier. Hardy broke it up. Now at the King blue line, Gay throws a check. Here's a pass, Kennedy to Bourne. Bourne, backhander, and a stick save by Moog. Puck taken by the Oilers. Yari Curry in his own zone. He gives it over to Steve Smith. 3:59 to go in the first period. 3-2 Oilers. Entertaining game for the fans. They've seen a lot of scoring and outstanding saves already, as both teams have had a lot of chances right in front of the net. Oilers come back now. Krujolniski to Curry. He comes across the line, and a penalty going to be called against the Kings for hooking. Yari Curry got hooked. And the Oilers are going to go on the power play now with 3:42 left to go in the first period. Joe Patterson goes to the penalty box for hooking Yari Curry right at the blue line.
Right side of your picture on our simulcast, Joe Patterson takes the feet out from underneath 17 Yari Curry as he tried to receive that pass. So Patterson in the penalty box, the time 16-18, and this will be the second Oiler power play in the period. The Oilers are in front 3-2. So the Oilers on the power play. They're 7th in the league, as we mentioned earlier.
In 83-84, and they had 56 wins in 85-86. Right now they have 49 wins on the year, 24 losses and 6 ties. Face off to the left of Rolly Melanson, and on the draw, Oilers hold it in. Ruotsalainen, he's got the good shot from the blue line. He takes it, it's wide. Rebound, saved by Melanson on the rebound shot by Messier. Kings come back to center. Here's Phil Sykes, and he shoots it into the Oilers zone. Kings have Sykes and Butsy Erickson up front to kill the penalty with Laidlaw and Duchesne back. Sykes, his usual hustling self in the Oilers zone, takes the puck away, gets it to Butsy Erickson against the left wing boards. Now to Sykes, and now it's taken by Kent Nilsson. Kent Nilsson passing up to Yari Curry. 3-2 Oilers lead. They've got the man advantage, and a pass back into the Oilers zone gets away from Messier, and Kent Nilsson back behind his own net to get it. Now here comes Mark Messier. Messier gives it back of the blue line to Nilsson. Kent Nilsson looking for the hat trick already tonight. Pass to the blue line, tipped away and out to center ice by Steve Duchesne. 1:08 left to go in the power play for the Oilers. They have a 3-2 lead. Here's Yari Curry. Curry drops it to Messier, the right point. He drives it behind the King net. Duchesne puts it up on the glass. Around to Bob Bourne. Bourne bumped by Messier. Puck is held in by the Oilers now, but Bourne takes it away. Up ahead to center to Erickson. Here's Erickson now to the Oiler line. Erickson to Duchesne, and just off his stick into the right wing corner. Duchesne with it again, but Curry takes it away, and the Oilers have it back in their own zone. 40 seconds left to go on the King penalty to Joe Patterson. Puck is flipped high into the King zone. Bourne knocks it down, but couldn't hold it in front alone. Shot score by Esa Tikkanen. Bob Bourne had knocked it down, but he couldn't control it. The puck bounced loose to Esa Tikkanen all alone in front of the King net. He scores the power play goal, and the Oilers lead 4-2.
Well, it's the type of game, if you can get a decent shot, you're going to score. The Oilers got a pretty good bounce as the Kings couldn't clear it out. Anderson originally flips it in the zone. It's knocked down by Bourne, but he overskates, and Anderson kicks it ahead to Esa Tikkanen, who goes down low past a sliding Rolly Melanson. So a great bit of footwork by Glenn Anderson, who kicked it across with his left skate boot to Esa Tikkanen, and then Tikkanen was skating backwards away from the goal, but he got off the shot, and it was accurate. His 34th of the season, a power play goal at 17:45, 4-2 Oilers.
Kings are back at full strength, but down by 2 goals once again now.
Time of the goal,
In a
45.
first period that has seen an awful lot of scoring and some good bounces, and the Kings down 4-2. Here's McSorley. He drives it in the Kings zone. Ledyard back to get it. His pass into the corner. Joe Patterson bumped against the boards. Patterson tried to pick it up, and now being spun around is Jay Wells. Puck taken away by Kevin McClellan to the Oilers. He's tied up in the corner by Ledyard. Ledyard gets it up to Joe Patterson. Patterson clears it out to center ice. 1:35 remaining in the first period. 4-2 Oilers lead. Oilers at center ice. Pass broken up by Hardy. Now his pass taken away. Pass to the King line. Hardy with it again. Hardy gets it to Tiger Williams. Williams into the Oilers zone. Goes to the right side. He shoots, and a save. A backhand shot by Williams and a save by Moog. And the Oilers clear it back into the King zone. Puck taken by Mark Hardy. Sweeps it up to center ice to Kennedy. Kennedy gives it to Tiger Williams. Tiger across the line. Puck rolls away from him. Oilers with it with 1 minute left to go in the first period. Here is Craig McTavish to center. Down the right side. Bumped hard and knocked down by Hardy. Head-on collision, and Hardy knocked McTavish flat. Puck comes out in front of the King net. Swept away into the corner by Kennedy. Here's Dean Kennedy with it now with 43 seconds to go in the first period. Over to Hardy, but off his skate. Taken by Tiger Williams. Williams back to the King line. Tried to give it to Hardy. Intercepted by McTavish. His pass on the right side. Held in and driven down the right side by Hunter. Into the corner. Check thrown by Kennedy. Puck taken by the Kings now as Bernie Nichols gets it up on the right side to Butsy Erickson. 24 seconds remaining in the first period. Oilers drive it right back behind the King net. Melanson cuts it off and leaves it for Kennedy. He has trouble with it. Pass up off the boards to center ice. Oilers take it away again. Kevin Lowe, 10 seconds left to go in the first period. 4-2 Oilers. Puck is in the Oilers zone now, and now cleared up to center ice. Here's McTavish as he backhands it, a two-line pass called on the play, and we've got Esa Tikkanen and Bernie Nichols upset with each other. 4 seconds remain here in the first period, and the Kings are down 4-2. Going to have penalties here, one to each player. Bernie Nichols and Tikkanen are both going to get penalties. They'll go right to the dressing room. There's only 4 seconds remaining here in this first period. Bad period for the Kings in their own end. They have not handled the puck well. Tikkanen gets 2 minutes for cross-checking, and Nichols gets 2 for slashing. So Tikkanen for cross-checking, Nichols for slashing at 19:56.
Number 10, Esa Tikkanen. 2 minutes.
Face-off will be in the Oilers or in the Kings zone between the blue line and the face-off circle to the right of Rolly Melanson.
Time of the penalties 19.
Jimmy Carson will take the draw for the Kings against Kruzhelnyski, and Carson wins the draw to Taylor. He shovels it out to center ice, and time runs out in the first period. So a lot of goals in that period. Kent Nilsson got it going 12 seconds into the game with his 17th from Anderson. Then 30 seconds later, Nilsson again, his 18th again from Anderson at 42 seconds. Then the Kings came back. Nichols
On the road at an early age, and young men grow up and hockey quickly on and off the ice.
In the United States, little is known about junior hockey. But in Canada, junior hockey is a way of life for thousands of teenagers who dream of playing in the National Hockey League. Although college and international hockey are providing more and more players to the pro level each year, the great majority of NHL players continue to develop out of Canadian junior hockey. But what exactly is junior hockey, and how does it compare to the NHL?
Certainly it's not as organized as professional hockey in the National Hockey League. These are the, they get the finished product in the National Hockey League, where we get the raw material where it comes out of midget and junior B. It's run along parallel to the pros. You try to relieve the pressures of traveling so that they're not tired when they're playing a game. The same thing, you eat your pregame meal. It may not be as in a luxurious hotel, but it's still a pregame meal, such as whether it be steak or pasta. And after a game, it's usually onto a bus and go somewhere where you don't have to drive too much far the next day. And it's the equipment's looked after. I just think there's very, very similar. There's a lot of similarities between pro and junior, but the biggest difference is the maturity in the boys themselves.
Junior hockey players range in age from 17 to 20, attend high school every day, practice each evening, and play most of their league games on weekends. The games are played in small arenas, but the competition is major league, sometimes dangerously so.
It gets pretty rough out there. The guys are a lot younger than in pro, and sometimes their emotions run away a bit, and they don't have the same control as the pros do. So at times it does get pretty aggressive.
I'm not playing tonight because I was involved in a pregame brawl last night against the Hamilton Steelhawks, which resulted in 14 stitches to my head. So I'm having trouble seeing to my right, so tonight's the night off for me.
Just like their heroes in the NHL, junior players are drafted and can be traded to other cities, which can mean leaving home at an early age.
I was 16 years old. I never knew much about junior hockey, and I was drafted by the Guelph Platers in the 4th round. I come to camp, I turned 17, and I moved to Guelph. Like, I lived in Guelph during the season, and I live in Hamilton in the off season. My first year was really tough. You know, you're away from your friends and your mom and dad, and you're young. It's really tough for a young person like that to move away from home. But the guys took me in really well, and it's one big family here, and it's something that I've grown accustomed to, and I enjoy it.
Once players settle into their new home, they are provided by their teams with room, board, school books, and even a small salary.
3 to 5 minutes, we got a hockey game to play. There's a lot of distractions if you want. Start getting yourself ready.
The dream, of course, is to excel at junior hockey. The best junior players get drafted by NHL teams, and the best of those may go on to play in the National Hockey League. But the numbers are against most junior players, So the junior leagues are working hard to provide an alternative for youngsters who may not realize their dreams.
They all want to play in the National Hockey League, and if they can't play in the National Hockey League, then it's our job to make sure that they get the education, the schooling, so that we'll prepare them for one walk of life or the other, so that when they're through junior, they'll be equipped to go to university, should they want, whether they want to go into the working force, or hopefully we can get them into a job. If it's not the National Hockey League, maybe it'll be into Europe, or maybe it'll be the American League, or somewhere where they can fulfill some of their dreams.
Did you like Paul Kelly's hairdo there? I kind of want to get that one for myself here. He looked like he'd just gone through 15 rounds with Marvin Hagler. By the way, Kelly and Brian Hayton, who you just saw there, are both members of the Kings organization. They're Kings property. We may see them there here in Los Angeles in the not-too-distant future. Hopefully Paul will have a different haircut by then. Speaking of Marvin Hagler, of course, Monday night coming up, the big fight against Sugar.
To our left, and if he's got his breath, here's Bob Miller. Well, we'll give it a try. All right, second period underway. Puck is back behind the King net and sent up the right side to Sean McKenna. McKenna tips it down to center ice, and then it's picked up by Duchesne. He drives it down the right side to Carpenter. Pass in front, just tipped away. Kings are down 4-2. Both teams at full strength. Here is McKenna, right wing side, Oilers zone. Backhander, he scores! Sean McKenna from the right side skated into the slot and got a backhander, and he put it right between the legs of the goaltender Andy Moog. And the Kings are right back in the game now as they are trailing 4-3.
McKenna's backhander in front hit one of the Oilers in front, one of the sticks of the Edmonton Oilers, about 10 feet in front of Andy Moog. I think it went off Nilsson's stick and redirected right between the pads of Andy Moog. So McKenna gets the early goal at 27 seconds, his 14th of the season. And this script is exactly like the one here on Wednesday night with the Vancouver Canucks. Thank you.
Now the puck taken by the Kings in their own zone. They're moving left to right. McKenna unassisted. Here's Tiger Williams with a drive into the Oilers zone. Puck comes off the boards on the right wing side. The Oilers dig it out. Up to center they come now. Pass on the right side. Shot by Ruotsalainen. And he scores off the goaltender Melanson. He thought he had the angle covered, and apparently he did, but the shot went off him into the net as the Oilers, Reijo Ruotsalainen, came down the right wing, and he just blasted one that got by Melanson, and the Oilers lead by 2 again, 5-3.
Well, if you're the Oilers, that's exactly what you want early in a period. After you give up a goal, get it right back. If you're the Kings, well, a big letdown, a bad goal for any goaltender to give up. Melanson just didn't pinch those leg pads tight enough because Melanson allowed the goal right between the legs, got a piece of it, but it trickled over the line. Ruotsalainen's 5th goal since joining the Oilers a month ago.
Now the Kings come back. Drive it into the Oilers zone. The puck comes around to Dave Taylor. Taylor bumped against the left wing boards. Taylor still with it. Now it's taken up the slot to the blue line. Left side, Laidlaw shooting. Stick save. Taylor. He gets stopped on a shot. And the Oilers with it as Taylor got knocked over the goaltender Moog. Boy, Taylor's had some great chances, Nick, and he just can't bury it. Here's McTavish shooting, save Melanson as McTavish came down the left side and had a good shot. Boy, this is wide open hockey for two teams who are going to go into the playoffs next week. Same two teams will meet next Wednesday and Thursday in Edmonton. We'll have both of them on television for you on Prime Ticket, live at 6:20 each night. And Wednesday night on KLAC and next Thursday night on KGIL radio.
And there will be a difference come playoff time on Wednesday, Bob, because on Wednesday the Oilers will have Gretzky and Coffey in the lineup.
Now here's Paul Gay driving it into the Oilers zone on target. Stop made by the goaltender Moog. 8 goals in the game already, and we are early in the second period. Oilers lead it 5-3. Yaroslav Pozar, he came over from Germany and joined the Oilers. They have made a lot of changes for a team that's the best team in hockey. Puck rolls off behind the King net and is taken by Ledyard. Here's Grant Ledyard to center. He drives it into the Oilers zone.
Yeah, Glenn Sather, Bob, their general manager, president, and coach, has never been a stand-pat type of manager. He always makes changes.
Now the Oilers come into the Kings zone. McClellan down the left side, jumps on the back of Ledyard. Knocked Ledyard down, but Ledyard gets it to Jay Wells. Up to Joe Patterson. Patterson to Wells. Oilers zone, left side. Wells shoots, and a glove save by Moog. Moog stick handles with it, then flips it around the boards on the left side. Puck is taken there by Charlie Huddy. He flipped it high in the air, and Moog grabs it and hangs on.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's
5-3 Oilers. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Like Ken Nilsson of the Oilers, but McKenna at 27 seconds and Ruotsalainen at 58 seconds, both unassisted.
Now the face-off in the Oilers zone. Puck comes in to Charlie Huddy. He overskated it. It's picked up by Bukaboom of the Oilers. He gets it to Glenn Anderson. Anderson checked by Kennedy. Now Bukaboom is bumped by McKenna. Oilers trying to clear it out. They can't do it. Now it is cleared off the boards to the right point. Held in by Kennedy. No, it just came across the line. Kennedy tried to hold it in, but it just came across the line. Sellout crowd, 16,005, and sellout crowds must scare the Kings. I'll tell you, they don't play their best in front of sellout crowds at the Forum.
Yeah, I think this is the fourth one this season. It may be the game-winning goal.
5-3 Oilers, 16:45 to go here in the second period. Puck is driven down into the Oilers zone. Charlie Huddy lost it to Robitaille, but then it rolled away from him. And the Oilers try to clear it. They don't. McKenna intercepts the blue line, but poke checked off of his stick. Taken out by Messier down the left wing, trying to get around Kennedy. Messier in deep, left wing side. Kennedy went down to one knee. Now Glenn Anderson with it. He is tripped and hauled down, but the Kings are going to come to center, and it's out of the reach of Robitaille. Luke was trying to catch up with it. Down the left side, here is Carpenter into the Oilers zone, and he gets hammered by Charlie Huddy, and the Oilers with it. Oilers starting out of their own zone. They're moving right to left in this second period. Here's Messier across the line. Poke checked away. Kings with it. Back they come, 3-on-2. Carpenter left side. Oilers zone. Carpenter into the slot. Backhander saved by Moog. Steers it into the corner. Puck is driven around the boards now and out to the left point and held in by Mark Hardy. Tried to get it into Robitaille. Robitaille left wing corner. Oilers zone. His pass tipped away and the Oilers come back. They've got a 2-on-1. Messier down the right side to Kent Nilsson to Messier. Broken up by Laidlaw, who got back. And Laidlaw clears at the center and all the way down to the Oilers zone. We're going to get an icing call against the Kings. So in the second period, the Oilers have a 5-3 lead. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
By Laidlaw, and the Kings were able to prevent the Oilers from getting a shot.
Kings win the draw in their own zone. Here's Duchesne giving it up on the left side to Tiger Williams. Williams clears it out to center ice and all the way down to the Oilers zone, but the Oilers could have played it. Kings tomorrow night at Vancouver will be on radio and television, KLAC and Prime Ticket, live at 6:20. Final game of the regular season. Puck taken by Kevin Lowe. Lowe drives it into the Kings zone, comes around to Esa Tikkanen. Tikkanen against the left wing boards. He's bumped there. Puck is picked up by Butsy Eriksson. He can't hold it. Taken away now. Smith at the left point gives it to Tikkanen. His pass intercepted by Duchesne, but taken away from him by Curry. It rolled away from Curry, and Laidlaw tried to clear it. Smith held it in. He drives it up on the glass. It bounces behind the King net. Taken there by Kruzhelnyski. He's bumped by Duchesne. Puck is still behind the net. Tiger Williams comes in and bumps Tikkanen. Kruzhelnyski trying to get it away from Duchesne. Tiger Williams still there. He and Tikkanen push at each other, and Duchesne finally comes out with a puck, and Tiger spins Tikkanen around and knocks him down. Kings with it at center ice. Bernie Nichols, he's got a goal tonight. He shoots, and a glove save by Moog. Nichols going high with a shot, and we've got a penalty now. And finally, Williams and Tikkanen get into it, and Tiger Williams throwing all kinds of punches at Tikkanen. One of the Kings came over, Nick. I'm not sure whether he thought one of the Oilers was the third man in or not.
Well, he was trying to prevent that from happening because the Oilers were just about ready to come to the aid of Tikkanen, who obviously was mismatched in that altercation with Tiger Williams. Players still now pushing and shoving Wells and Bernie Nichols. Nichols came flying through there, I believe, to prevent the Oilers from getting at Williams and Tikkanen. Williams and Tikkanen finally separated. Curry and Nichols are waltzing around. A couple of other players right next to the Edmonton net are being paired off, but the two main combatants, Williams and Esa Tikkanen, have finally been separated and are now being escorted to the penalty box. Ledyard, few words with Steve Smith. Williams in the penalty box right now. Remember, at the other end, in the Kings end, Williams and Tikkanen were wrestling each other to the ice, and they gave each other a little bit of the stick, and Hogarth saw it all, but he figured they'd let it go, at least for the time being, but when play got into the Edmonton zone, they bumped again and finally dropped the gloves, and still a problem with everybody else. Again, Tikkanen in the penalty box, number 10 of the Oilers, along with Tiger Williams, but a couple of the other players don't want to let go in the corner to the right of Andy Moog. Jay Wells, Mike Krushelnyski. Now Bernie Nichols is going to the penalty box, and Steve Smith for the Edmonton Oilers. So 2 players from each side have been whistled off by referee Ron Hogarth. The penalties here will be at 5:37. Again, Williams appears to be looking for Tikkanen. He gives him a little blade of the stick, close to spearing right there in the replay, and then they rough each other up, drop the gloves. Krushelnyski is watching, and he's going to watch to see how Tikkanen does. And just as Krushelnyski was getting a little bit closer, you're going to see one of the other Kings come flying in to prevent a third man. Well, there's Curry. Now Curry picks up for Krushelnyski, and now Bernie Nichols, I think, grabs a hold of Curry to keep him away from Tiger Williams. So these will be interesting calls, I think. And Ron Hogarth is trying to get all the help he can get as he chats with the linesman, Swede Knox, along with Mark Perry. Let's listen to him.
Tikkanen 5 minutes slashing. Williams 2-minute instigator. 5 minutes fighting. I've got Tikkanen 5 minutes fighting.
I didn't do it.
I've got Nichols 2 minutes roughing. Smith 2 minutes roughing.
I didn't even have fucking Smith, Hoagie, for fuck's sakes.
Well, I don't think Bernie Nichols cares for the calls.
Every fucking game.
The penalty, the major penalty, I think he called a major on Tikkanen for slashing, and that's what upset Tiger Williams. And the only thing Tiger got, Tikkanen I think got 5 and 5 for fighting. Tiger got 2 for instigating and 5 for fighting, if I remember them correctly. And then Smith, along with Nichols, got 2 each for roughing. So the Kings apparently, if we caught all the penalties given out by Ron Hogarth, may get the upper hand as far as manpower advantage. But the Kings are still discussing it with the linesman and the referee right by the Kings penalty bench. Again, it originally started at the other end of the ice in the Kings zone. The puck is around the boards and up on the wing. Tikkanen and Williams push and shove. Now Tiger gets knocked down. Puck is not near them. And then Tikkanen is wrestled to the ice. Now Williams, along with Tikkanen, will skate all the way back down in the other zone. And then apparently what started it, a 5-minute or a flagrant slash by Esa Tikkanen on Williams. We're going to get the end of the play down at the other end in the Edmonton zone. See, Tiger's looking for Tikkanen. I think Tikkanen already has slashed Tiger, and Tiger came close to getting a sparing penalty. Let's be honest with it.
Well, he gets his blade of his stick right under the sweater of Tikkanen, and it poked the sweater out on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe the only penalties Tiger got was 2 for instigating and 5 for fighting. And the penalties that Tikkanen got was the 5-minute major for slashing, which apparently was either between the blue lines as they were skating into the Oilers zone, but right before Tiger went after Esa Tikkanen.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. After Tiger dumped him down the other end, which we saw in our simulcast replay, Tikkanen skated behind, and I thought he kind of slashed at him at that point. Here are the calls.
To number 10, Esa Tikkanen. 5 minutes for slashing. 5 minutes for fighting. Number 5, Steve Smith. 2 minutes for roughing. Los Angeles penalties. To number 22, Dave Williams. 2 minutes for instigating a fight. 5 minutes for fighting. And 5 minutes for slashing. Number 9, Bernie Nichols. 2 minutes for roughing. Time of the penalties, 5:37.
Well, Williams did get a major for slashing that little bit with the blade that you saw Tikkanen's jersey move, but again, it started behind the Kings net, wrestling around. They got up, and then Tikkanen slashed at Tiger Williams, but you know, I don't think that was the slash, because I watched Ron Hogarth as that happened, and he let it go. I think it had to have happened after that when they were skating all the way back down into the Edmonton zone. But anyway, Williams does get 5 for slashing, as does Tikkanen. They each get 5 for fighting, and Tiger gets the extra 2 for instigating. Nichols and Smith for roughing, as Wayne Gretzky and Paul Coffey look on just to the left of the Oiler bench. Again, Gretzky not in the lineup tonight. He bruised his foot Thursday in the game with Calgary. slid into the boards, hit his foot, and the Oiler announcers were joking with me beforehand. The first time Gretzky has ever hit the boards. Of course, he's so good at preventing himself from getting in a position to get hurt. But Gretzky is resting up for the playoffs. Paul Coffey, of course, to the right of Gretzky. A Norris Trophy, they tell me, just is not going to be 100% until next season.
All right, the Kings are short after that. Bernie Nichols serving the 2-minute penalty, and the puck taken by the Oilers, Mark Messier. The Oilers have a 5-3 lead. We're in the second period. 14:10 to go in the period, and the Oilers with a man advantage. Puck comes into the Kings zone. Kennedy tried to clear it. He couldn't do it. Held in by the Oilers. Here's Lowe with the left side. He gives it to Messier. Messier down along the boards. Back to Lowe with the left point. Lowe drives it in behind the net. It comes around the boards over to Bob Bourne. Bourne for the Kings. Skates it or passes up the center to Hardy. Here's Hardy at the red line. He spins around there and gives it to Paul Gay. Gay takes his time. Kings trying to kill time on the clock. Pass back into their own zone to Kennedy. Kennedy chased by Messier. Kennedy with it. He clears it off the boards and down into the Edmonton zone. 1:13 left to go in the penalty to Bernie Nichols. Kings are down 5-3. Final home game of the regular season. Kings have won 20 at home this year after winning only 9 on home ice a year ago. Here is Lowe for the Oilers. He goes back behind his own net and he waits there. Less than a minute to go in the power play for the Oilers now. Here's Messier with it. Mark Messier passing back over on the left side. Oilers bring it up to center ice. Jari Kurri. His pass to Kevin Lowe. Lowe drives into the King zone. Melanson stops it behind the net. Stick handles with it. Passes and gave it away. And a pass in front. And it hit the goal post and then fell under Melanson. Again, the Kings get in trouble because of indecision in their own zone behind the net.
Well, he who hesitates and et cetera, Melanson had plenty of time. Looked like Rowley wanted it backhanded right up the middle and clear the zone, but he sees Messier there. He holds on, and by the time he decides he's going to flip it in the far corner, the speedy Glenn Anderson gets in there and deflects it right off the far post.
79th game of the season. How are you having all those problems in your own end? I don't understand it.
That was the big problem for the Kings. They gave the puck, turned it over 3 times, and that led to 3 of the 4 Oiler goals in that first period. I shouldn't say just 3 times, but 3 of their 4 goals, the direct result of a possession turnover.
Kings really concerned about the play in their own end going into the playoffs. They were awful the other night, and they're awful here tonight so far. 5-3 Oilers. This game is coming to you live from the
American way since 1885 and by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Face off in the King zone to the left of Melanson. Oilers with it at the right point. Charlie Huddy sends it down the right side now, and the Oilers still control it. Back to the blue line to Huddy. He shoots. It's deflected into the left wing corner. Again, the Oilers keep it in. Here's Ken Nilsson. He's got 2 goals tonight. He passes to Huddy. Huddy to Nilsson. Nilsson to Kurri. Kurri shoots, and it's wide to the right side. Shot it right off the pass and shot it wide to the right, and the puck slides all the way down into the Oilers zone.
Ken Nilsson getting a lot of ice time on the power play. Of course, Gretzky is out of the lineup along with Coffey. Nilsson just an outstanding playmaker.
Now the Oilers are going to go offside to the King blue line. Glenn Anderson offside again as Messier brought it across. And the power play is over for the Oilers. Bernie Nichols out of the penalty box.
Glenn Anderson skating off, and he's been in the right spot here on a few occasions. 3 assists already. The speedy right wing. Most effective line against the Kings was not the Gretzky line. Everybody knows what Gretzky and Kurri can do. You have to expect they're going to get 2 or 3 goals a game, it seems. But they feel that Messier and Anderson are the guys that prove to be the difference in playoff series.
Oilers drive it into the Kings zone. Kings are down 5-3. They're back at full strength. Wells up ahead to Taylor at center. He didn't get it. It comes into the Oilers zone and taken by Kevin Lowe. Here's Lowe back to center. Now to the King line. Lowe tried to go down the middle, and he's taken out of the play by Wells. Puck is picked up by Taylor. Dave Taylor clears it out to center ice and down into the Oilers zone. Jimmy Carson going for it. Gets knocked down. Penalty against the Oilers. Tripping the call as Jimmy Carson hustled after the puck and got tripped. Kings will go on the power play, and we'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Power play tonight for the Kings, who are 1 of 3.
On the draw in the Oilers zone, the Oilers win the draw, and it is cleared by Craig Muni all the way back down into the King zone. Oiler penalty killers, McTavish and Krujolniski out with Muni and Smith. Kings, Jimmy Carson comes to center. Carson, he's got a man ahead. It's Taylor down the middle, but it goes off his stick, and the goaltender Moog comes out to cover it up, and Taylor had to jump over the Oiler goaltender. Let's pause right now for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
The Lasers host their Southern California rivals, the San Diego Sockers, in a shootout.
Sprawling made the save and looked around and said, who the heck was that that was flying over me?
Now the Kings on the power play in the Oilers zone. Carson's pass to Ledyard.
Penalties behind the play. They're going to get both. I think Smith is going to go along with Dave Taylor.
The pass was out of the reach of Ledyard right at the blue line, but just then, as Nick said, the whistle blew because the penalties behind the play. Taylor getting the penalty for the Kings, and he's upset about it. He doesn't go into the penalty box right away. Steve Smith going off for the Oilers.
Edmonton penalty.
Well, here are the calls now.
Steve Smith. Los Angeles penalty to number 18, Dave Taylor. 2 minutes each for high sticking. Time of the penalties, 8:31.
So coincidental high sticking penalties, and the penalties were in the corner to the left of Andy Moog. The Kings try and keep the puck in, and middle of your screen on our simulcast, right near one of the linesmen, Mark Perry. They get the sticks up. Taylor, I think, clipped Smith on the left shoulder, and Smith may have tapped Taylor, and Hogarth was right there and made the call. So the Kings retain the 5-on-4 skating advantage.
They got 1:28 left to go in that. Kings are down 5-3, second period. 11:19 to go in the period. Here is Duchesne in the slot, in front to Nichols. He's pulled down, penalty to the Oilers. Another penalty, a delayed call. Puck is in the right wing corner. Now it's whistled dead, and the Kings are going to have a 2-man advantage for 1:15. And
Bernie Nichols, yeah, great play by Bernie Nichols to sneak behind everybody. I think the Kings also got a pretty good bounce. Nichols was upended from behind. This penalty will be at 8:50. Tripping is the call. And going to the penalty box will be Craig Muni. So now the Kings with a great chance to get to within one. Again, Duchesne tries to feather a pass over to Bernie Nichols. Muni fans on it, then recovers by tripping up Nichols as Nichols went to deke to his forehand on Andy Moog in the first period. Nichols did exactly that, only he wasn't tripped, and he scored after he did deke. Now the Kings with it, Bernie Nichols, Steve Duchesne, and Brian Erickson. Kings have to win the draw here. It's to Craig Muni.
Jimmy Carson on the draw. The Kings with a 2-man advantage. The puck comes to Marty McSorley. Can he clear it? Duchesne holds it in. Left side. His pass in deep. Robitaille had it. Taken away by McSorley. Robitaille gets it back to Duchesne. Left point. Duchesne to the right point to Nichols. Nichols. Oilers zone. Right point. In the middle it goes to Carson. He spins. His pass broken up. Duchesne with it again. Duchesne giving it to Robitaille. To Erickson in front. He couldn't get it. Comes to Nichols to the right point. The goaltender's lost his stick. Puck comes over to Duchesne. To Carson. He shoots. Save. Rebound. Behind the net, pass in front, tipped over the net by Carson. A pass up the middle, Kings with it. Duchesne, left side, shot, deflected wide and out to center ice. The shot by Butsy Erickson. The Kings, Bernie Nichols chases it down and gets it as Messier came back. Now the Oiler goaltender Moog has his stick. Here is Robitaille giving it to Nichols, but he gave it out across the blue line to center ice. He thought Nichols was right behind him. Gave a drop pass back to Bernie, but it came across the blue line. Kings with it again. Carson down the middle. Tried to split the defense. Marty McSorley bumps him. McSorley with it for the Oilers. Clears it to center ice. Kings have a 2-man advantage for 7 more seconds. The goaltender Melanson gives it to Bernie Nichols. Nichols across the line. Nichols right side. Nichols shoots. Save made by Moog, and the puck cleared. The Oilers get 1 man back. Kevin Lowe comes out. Kings with it. Melanson passing to Duchesne. Duchesne to center ice. Kings with a 1-man advantage. Now to Bobby Carpenter down the left wing. Carpenter drives it hard around the boards. Puck comes in the Oilers zone and now out to center ice in front of the King bench. Ledyard going for it there, and it's frozen against the boards. With 25 seconds left to go on the King power play, it's now a 1-man advantage.
Well, the problem the Kings had, I think they panicked a little bit. They didn't get to the point where they could be patient and work for that one good quality chance. They fired a couple of times early on the 2-man advantage when Carson finally realized that Moog was without his stick. He either lost control of it or had it knocked out. Carson then turned and fired from the far circle, but didn't get a lot on the shot, and the save was made. Then Erickson down low. Erickson clipped, I think, early on the power play behind the net, and he is cut. You can see the blood trickling down the left side of his face. Holds a cloth around his left eyebrow, it looks like. He'll go off for some repairs. But I think he was clipped early in the power play as the Kings tried to put on the pressure.
Now the Kings with it at center ice. Here's Ledyard. He drives it into the Oilers zone. Kings have 18 seconds to go on the power play. Jeff Bukaboom in for Edmonton. Slaps it around the boards to Yari Curry. Curry's got McTavish ahead of him. Doesn't give it to him. Passes and gives it away in his own zone. Here's Phil Sykes with it, but the Kings were all coming back thinking the Oilers were going to come to center ice. And Sykes' pass is taken away, cleared to center ice, knocked down by Ledyard. The power play is over. Kings fail to score with a two-man advantage or the one-man advantage. The Kings, very simply, not very good with a two-man advantage this year. Here's Carpenter down the left wing, trying to get around low. Carpenter falling, gets it to Hardy. He shoots, and a save made by Moog as Sykes was trying to screen him. Oilers clear it to center. 5-3 Edmonton. 8:49 left to go in the second period. Here's McTavish down the right wing. Stops in the Kings zone. Pass to the blue line, comes out to center ice. Rayo roots the line in with it. He flips it up in the air. It's knocked down by Phil Sykes. Sykes' pass to Bob Bourne. Bourne sweeps it into the Oilers zone with 8.5 minutes to go in the second period. 5-3 Oilers. They come back to center. Here's McTavish with Pozar. Gives it to Yaroslav Pozar. Right side. Kings zone. Trying to get around. Hardy can't do it. Hardy knocks him down. Melanson pokes it to Bourne. Bourne clears it out to center. Taken away by Huddy. Huddy for the Oilers at center ice. Shoots it high into the Kings zone. Right wing corner. Taken by Bob Bourne. 5-3 Oilers. Second period. Bob Miller along with Nick Nixon. Tomorrow night will be in Vancouver on the air live at 10 minutes to 7, radio and TV. Kings and the Canucks. Puck is in the Oilers zone. The Oilers moving right to left. Roots the line and gives it over to Charlie Huddy. Here's Huddy to center. He sends it to Pozar. Pozar across the line. Poke checked away, and Joe Patterson couldn't clear it. Held in by McSorley at the right point. Tipped away from him by Laidlaw and then cleared by Patterson to center. Oilers with it again. Here's Craig Muni. Muni's pass backhanded down into the Kings zone by McSorley. It's behind the net, and Duchesne hustles down for it. And we've got a penalty coming up. And now McClellan takes a whack at Melanson. I think he got the original penalty, didn't he?
I don't know, but it was a delayed call by Ron Hogarth. McClellan and Melanson fell down as they were in a tangle, and I think McClellan's going to get the penalty. Then he took a little slash at Melanson as he tried to goad Melanson into getting one. 5-3 Oilers. We'll be back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network. Is in the penalty box, but Patterson was pushing and shoving with, I think, Smith.
Yeah.
And then another one of the Oilers, I think, well, not sure who it was, but they were pushing with Dave Taylor.
Well, the Kings are going to come out of this with a power play. The minor penalty that's going to give them the man advantage is on Kevin McClelland. And then Joe Patterson and Smith got into it. This all occurred down by the Kings net near goaltender Rolly Melanson.
And the puck was coming out towards center ice. Smith going into the penalty box for the Edmonton Oilers. Rolly Melanson, the Kings goaltender, leaves the puck, and then he was clipped, but I think Rolly got his elbow up a little bit to hamper McClelland, and then afterwards McClelland gets up, skates in front, turns around, has a few words, fakes a butt in, then gives him a little love tap on the chest. Nothing serious, but the intent got him the penalty.
Butsy Erickson of the Kings, you saw him leaving the ice. He has a cut over his left eye, and he's getting stitches right now.
McClelland gets 2 minutes for interference. Smith is getting 2 for roughing and a misconduct, so he's gone until the third period. The Kings, Joe Patterson is getting a penalty. 2 minutes for roughing. So Kings will have the power play. The interference on McClelland was for McClelland cruising through the goal crease of Rolly Melanson, and the puck wasn't in there. It's a penalty you haven't seen all that often this year, but they're supposed to call it that way, and they did right there. And now Steve Smith is going to go off to the Oiler dressing room because he is gone for 12 minutes plus.
Well, did McClelland not get anything for taking that little swipe with his
No, he didn't.
Well, that's ridiculous. He skates away and whacks the King goaltender with a stick and gets no penalty for that. I don't understand that, but that's the way it is. He was not called for that. The call against him, as Nick said, was interference.
And Bob, this is the 6th power play for the Kings, and I think 2 of the factors in any playoff series in any year, a hot goaltender and how you do on special teams. And the Kings are getting opportunities to work on the special teams against Edmonton. They're only 1 of 5, failing on a 2-man advantage for 115.
The Oilers lead the Kings. King goals tonight. Robitaille is 45th. Bernie Nichols is 33rd. Sean McKenna getting his 14th. Puck comes high in the air into the Kings zone, and Jay Wells back to get it. Gives it behind the net to Ledyard. Kings on the power play, trying to narrow the gap here in the second period. Jimmy Carson to Ledyard, back to Carson to the red line. He shoots it into the Oilers zone. Left wing corner, taken by Craig Muni. Muni chased in by Robitaille. Muni still with it. He gets bumped by Taylor. Puck comes out now to Lowe for the Oilers. Oilers have a short-handed goal tonight. It was Dave Hunter. Lowe sends it into the Kings zone, comes around over to Jimmy Carson. Carson circles the net, passes up on the right wing to Dave Taylor. Taylor slides it back to Ledyard. Here's Ledyard to the red line now. His pass deflects into the Oilers zone, and Lowe got his stick on it, but an offside called against the Kings.
Kevin Lowe, we mentioned earlier, one of the fine defensive defensemen in the National Hockey League, one of the better shot blockers. Veteran with the Edmonton Oilers, wearing jersey number 4. Lowe finishing up his 8th National Hockey League season. Lowe drafted by the Oilers back in the '79 amateur draft in the first round.
So the faceoff will be outside the blue line. Paper airplane comes sailing out of the crowd, and Joe Tripoli, ever alert, with the Air Force song. All right, on the draw, the Oilers have it. Muni lifts it high in the air.
Is that the name of it? The Air Force song?
Yeah. Off we go into the wild blue yonder.
The Air Force song.
Not airport, Air Force.
That's what I said, Air Force song.
Puck taken now by Bobby Carpenter, but he can't cross the Oiler line. Lowe took the puck away, and Carpenter went flying over Lowe's stick. Now the puck all the way back in the Kings zone. The Oilers just putting the pressure on. They're not going to let the Kings get that power play set up. Kings came in tonight with the best power play in the NHL. Here is a pass over the left side to McKenna, and he's wrapped really hard over there on the left wing side.
Yeah, a lot of hits right at the whistle. Boy, about 3 or 4 guys have really been racked right when they've let up, hearing the whistle, but the momentum of the other player is going right into them. Sean McKenna, who has a goal, is 14th earlier in the period. Right along the boards, tried to flip it in deep, and Muni just stepped right in between McKenna and the puck and slammed him into the boards right at the whistle for offsides, or actually the whistle for the puck going out of play.
Faceoff will be inside the Oiler blue line with 44 seconds to go, and the penalty to Kevin McClellan. Kings are down 5-3. We have 6:16 to go here in the second period. McTavish wins the draw. Oilers with it again, and Kevin Lowe takes his time, clears it to center. Hardy knocks it down. Hardy to Duchesne. Duchesne backpedaling into the Kings zone, gets it to Hardy. Now back to Duchesne. Here's Duchesne to center. His pass off the right wing boards, out of the reach of McKenna, cleared by Lowe back down into the Kings zone. Oilers have a man right in the middle of the ice, and the guy coming up the middle for the Kings is not always sure where he's going to put it. There they go again with Hunter taking it away. Took away Duchesne's pass. Now Hardy within the Kings zone. Puck comes up to center ice to Sykes. He gave it away. Pass is knocked down right in front of the penalty box by Hunter. Sykes gets it again and puts it into the Oilers zone, but all this is doing is killing time on the Oiler penalty. Yeah, and they are back at full strength right now.
Yeah, the big problem on the power play is we get a whistle for knocking the stick out of the air with a high stick. 5-3, the Oilers are in front. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network. Kings blue line at center ice, and Bob, you mentioned the Oilers with that player right in the middle, and that's been the problem for the Kings. That first clear-out pass from their own zone on the man advantage just hasn't clicked.
Oilers take it away. Messier to Huddy, left side. His pass right side over to Anderson, and just tipped wide to the right. Great puck movement by the Oilers that time. Kings clear it up to center. Paul Gay gets bumped there, and the puck rolls away from him. Back to Messier. Messier, Anderson up front along with Kent Nilsson, and they worked it around really well, but Anderson's shot was tipped wide to the right side of the net. Now Kennedy shoots it into the Oilers zone. Puck is cleared to the blue line, held in by Laidlaw. Laidlaw's pass into the corner to Robitaille. Luke's got a goal tonight. Here's Robitaille, left wing corner, Oilers zone. Robitaille drops it to Bourne. Bob Bourne left side to the blue line. He holds it in, but his pass taken away. Oilers come back to center ice. pass over the left side. Messier to Anderson. Anderson down the left wing. He's cut off. He gets it to Messier. Messier tried to give it back to Curry, but it's intercepted. And Gay tried to skate it out. Couldn't do it. Anderson takes it away. Anderson centers it as he gets knocked down. Oilers with it. Shot by Lowe is wide. Rebound behind the net. Anderson with it again. Anderson for the Oilers against the left wing boards. Up to the blue line to Lowe. His shot blocked into the corner by Gay. Puck is taken by Kennedy. And look, two Kings going for it. Neither of them got it. Kennedy and Robitaille looking right at each other. And finally, Kennedy cleared it to center.
Talk to each other, fellas.
Yeah, they've met each other. As I said, this is the 79th game of the year. We had the Booster Club banquet the other day. I introduced all of them. Puck is taken by the Oilers again. Right side. Curry as the Kings couldn't come out. Curry throws it behind the net. Over on the left side. Here is Pozar for the Oilers. His pass in front. Tipped away by Melanson. Taken by Curry. Centers it right through the crease. Kings finally with it, and it's cleared by Gay into the Oilers zone on target. 3:30 to go in the second period. Kings are down 5-3. Long pass down the middle. Pozar in the Kings zone, but he can't hold it. Getting back in a hurry was Ledyard along with Wells. Here's Ledyard passing up on the right side now to Taylor. Taylor gets it ahead down the right wing to Sykes. Oilers zone and rolls off his stick. He goes into the corner with Bukaboom. Taylor barrels in. Bukaboom gets knocked down. Taylor with it right wing corner. Gives it to Sykes behind the net. Sykes Oilers zone in front. Couldn't get a good shot. It was tipped away. And the Oilers come back to center. 3-on-2. Pass on the left wing into the King zone. Kruzhelnyski now to Pozar. His pass wide to the right side. Carson with it. Carson's pass hit a skate. Held in front alone. Pozar's score as the Oilers held it in. It was not Pozar. It was from the right side. And the Kings failed to clear it again. And it was held in.
And I think Sykes is going to get a penalty after the fact.
Bukaboom gets the goal. And the Oilers now lead 6-3, and the Kings are just having an awful time handling the puck in their own zone. It started in the opening minutes of the first period, and it hasn't stopped since.
Well, the big key has been the speed of the Edmonton Oilers, especially up front, constantly pressuring the Los Angeles Kings. The defenseman, the goaltender, Melanson, has been his own worst enemy on a couple of occasions here. A couple of the goals he's allowed, he has not looked sharp on. But the goal with two Oilers all alone in front, not sure who was going to take the shot. The puck comes free. Pozar left it for Smith, and I think Curry turned, hoping that he would get the puck. But he never got the puck, and finally the shot was taken from the base of the right circle, and it went off Melanson's pads again and into the net. So Melanson certainly has not looked like the goaltender we've seen in the second half.
Not at all. Maybe those 22 shots in the first period against Vancouver got him shell-shocked. Wells threw a punch at Pozar, and Pozar punched him back. But Wells threw the initial punch there.
Penalties will be at 17:09. Not only have we had 9 goals scored, 6 by the Oilers, but we've had quite a few penalties as the teams get toned up for the playoffs next week. Yari Curry is in the penalty box for the Edmonton Oilers. Phil Sykes for the Los Angeles Kings.
Edmonton penalty.
Here are the calls.
Number 17, Yari Curry. 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Los Angeles penalty to number 7, Phil Sykes. 2 minutes for roughing. Time of the penalties, 17:09.
So Curry and Sykes, two players you wouldn't expect to get involved in a little pushing and shoving, both get 2 minutes at 17:09. Bukaboom with the goal.
The assist to number 26.
At 17:09, Kruzhelnyski with an assist at 17:09.
Now the Kings are far too sloppy for a team ready to go into the playoffs against this team. It's as simple as that. Kings are down 6-3 with 2:30 to go in the second period. And Bukaboom with it for the Oilers, clears it out to center ice. Joe Patterson fires it right back in. It deflects toward the net. Andy Moog stops it there. Puck comes around to Bukaboom. Bukaboom passing to center, right onto the stick of the King, Steve Duchesne. Duchesne's pass to Patterson. Now he tips it over to McKenna on the right wing, taken away by McTavish. He lost it to Duchesne. Here's Duchesne into the Oilers zone. He drives it down the right side, trying to get it to McKenna. It tips off of his stick and taken by Craig McTavish. 2 minutes to go in the second period. Puck comes out to center ice. Now to McTavish. He's got a breakaway down the middle. All alone. He shoots. He scores. Oh, what sloppy play as the Oilers have another breakaway, and they now lead 7-3 as McTavish comes in all alone.
McTavish taking advantage of the Kings trying to play the puck instead of the man. The puck comes free. Kennedy and McTavish in the middle. Dean is trying to deflect the puck away instead of just taking McTavish, and McTavish gets the good bounce, goes in on Melanson.
Oh.
Is like shifting left and right and left, and he tucks it in at 18-10. A beautiful goal by Craig McTavish. So a bad night for the Los Angeles Kings for the second straight time. Vancouver embarrassed them here 8-3. Vancouver had all the shots, but the Kings tonight just giving away the goals. They've only had 15 shots, Edmonton, but they've scored 7 times.
Puck is back behind the King net. Melanson stops it there. Ledyard with it. He's pressured. I'll tell you one thing, the Oilers have put the pressure on from the opening faceoff in the Kings zone. They are forcing the Kings into sloppy handling of the puck and mistakes in their own zone. Here is Lowe into the Kings zone. He drives it behind the net. Comes around the boards, taken away by Bourne. Ahead to Bernie Nichols. Here's Nichols up to center ice. Nichols still with it. Gives it on the right side to Ledyard. Ledyard, Oilers zone. He shoots and a save by Moog off his blocker. Puck is taken by Glenn Anderson. Here's Anderson up to center ice now. Into the Kings zone. Anderson goes to the right side with a minute to go in the second period. Puck is taken away by the Kings. Here's Gay. Gay up ahead to center to Bourne. Bourne across the blue line, poked away. Ruotsalainen with the assist on that goal by McTavish at 18-10. Oilers within the Kings zone again. 7-3 Edmonton. Puck comes in deep in the Kings zone. Laidlaw with it. He passes around the boards, and the Oilers hold it in again. Comes down in the corner now, and puck is poked out to center ice finally, all the way down into the Oilers zone. Poked away from Mike Moeller. Now Moeller gets it again at his own blue line. He gets knocked down by Laidlaw. Laidlaw gives it to Carpenter. Carpenter into the slot. Backhander tipped up over the net by Muni. Craig Muni deflected the shot by Carpenter. Now McKenna with a drive in front, loose puck, and Robitaille gets stopped by Moog. And then on the right side of the net, we've got Carpenter's there, McKenna there, and Bookaboo for the Oilers as Moog makes the stop. So the Oilers get a little sloppy in their own zone with 2 seconds left in the second period. Robitaille had it on the right side of the net, was poked into the corner. Oilers controlled it but gave it away. McKenna with a blast, blocked, and then the puck came loose in front of the net to Robitaille, and also taking a whack at it was Carpenter. Save was made by Moog, and then Bookaboo and Carpenter bumped into each other. Everything settles down after that. 7-3 Oilers. They've had the last 3 goals in the second period after the Kings pulled it within 4-3. So the Kings' problem of goals against continues. 8 goals the other night against Vancouver. 7 goals here tonight. That's hardly the way you go into the playoffs. They've got one more chance tomorrow night to try and get their game together. That'll be at Vancouver. We'll be live at 10 minutes to 7 on Prime Ticket Television and KLAC Radio. Kings and the Canucks. Now on the face-off in the Oilers zone, we've got Joe Patterson dropping his sticks and throwing a punch at Marty McSorley. And McSorley throwing right hands, knocks Patterson down. Oh, McSorley, big tough kid, took on maybe the toughest King, Joe Patterson, and he hammered him to the ice. So there's a little message for the playoffs. Joe started the fight, Patterson, and he got the worst of it as Marty McSorley hammered him with some right hands. McSorley 6'1", 190. They were lined up for the face-off. Little pushing on the left side of the face-off circle, and Patterson finally dropped his sticks and throws a right hand. And then he got the worst of it from McSorley.
Los Angeles penalty to number 27, Joe Patterson.
And they each get 5 minutes for fighting.
1958.
Oilers probably wondering why Patterson isn't getting 2 minutes for instigating a fight.
Los Angeles penalty to number 27, Joe Patterson. 5 minutes.
Face-off will be in the Oilers zone to the left of Andy Moog. 2 seconds remaining in the second period. Hozar comes onto the ice for the Oilers. Bobby Carpenter will take the draw against McTavish. And on the draw, the loose puck is swept into the corner by the goaltender Moog, and then Tiger Williams has a few words with one of the Oilers. And it looks like everything is going to calm down, and they'll go to their respective dressing rooms. In the period, 4 goals. Kings got right back in it when McKenna got his 14th unassisted at 27 seconds, but the Oilers came back with the next 3. Ruotsalainen with his 5th unassisted at 58 seconds. Bukaboom with his 3rd from Kruzhelnyski at 17:09, and then McTavish with his 29th from Ruotsalainen at 18:10.
The Oilers are 1 of 3 and the Kings are 1 of 6. Again, Nichols, Robitaille, and McKenna are the goal scorers this evening for the Kings, who trail by 4 as we start the 3rd period. Rolly Melanson to our right, and Andy Moog will defend to our left. And here with the 3rd, Bob Miller.
All right, Nick, tough night for Phil to come on and have to comment on this type of play, but as he said, the Kings, all they can do now is just work hard here in the 3rd period, show Edmonton they're not going to back down, and then try and get their game together tomorrow night. Puck is in the King zone, right wing side. Ken Nielsen with it. Both teams at full strength. Nielsen got 2 goals in the first 30 seconds, but has been unable to get the hat trick. Shot from the right side by Ruotsalainen, broken up by Wells. Ahead to center to McKenna. Here's McKenna with a goal tonight with Carpenter. Carpenter shoots, and he hit the goal post. Bobby Carpenter hit the goal post from the left wing face-off circle. He tried the stick side, the short side, and hit the left goal post. Good opportunity there, but goal post got in the way. Puck is taken by the Kings back in their own zone. Pass up the middle, intercepted by Messier. His shot saved by Melanson. 3rd period just underway. Kings trying to clear it out. Ruotsalainen holds it into the right point, but Robitaille takes it down. Here's Luke's pass taken away by the Oilers. They got a man cutting in. Kruzhelnyski. He shoots, and it's blocked by Ledyard. Kings with it again in their own zone, and oh, they had trouble in there tonight. Here's Robitaille with it. He's hounded, but he gets it out to center ice. 7-3 Oilers. The puck is taken by Glenn Anderson for Edmonton now, and he gives it to Charlie Huddy. Huddy chased into the right wing corner of his own zone by Taylor. Huddy gets to it first. Pass along the boards. Kings take it away. Carson tried to give it to Taylor. Tipped away. Here's Kennedy with it. Right side. He shoots wide to the left. Rebound. Oilers come back. They may have a 3-on-2 working here. They are quick on the transition game. Here's Tikkanen passing down the right side of Kruzhelnyski. He's bumped in the right wing corner. Puck is still battled for now in the King zone. Carson comes over. Here's Kennedy with it. Kennedy clears it up to center ice and out of the King zone.
Well, Bob, 2 things come to mind when you look at this game, at least to this point. Bad handling of the puck by the Kings inside their blue line, and that directly has led to about 4 or 5 Oiler goals, easy goals for them to get. And Rolly Melanson not having a sharp game in goal.
Well, maybe he's going to get it out of his system here tonight and be very sharp next Wednesday. Kings are hoping so. Oilers come to center now. Pass on the left side into the King zone, and still with it, a shot over the net, deflected over the net and off the glass. It comes back out to center. Ruotsalainen with that shot. He likes to get up into the play over there. He did it on his other goal tonight when he came down the right wing. Now the Oilers drive it back in the Kings zone. Melanson flips it off the boards over to Duchesne. Kings moving right to left. Duchesne's pass tipped on the way out, taken at center ice by McTavish. Oilers move it around at their own blue line. Here's Dave Hunter. His pass knocked down right in front of the Oiler bench by Tiger Williams, and they push a little bit at the whistle, but everything calms down. 7-3 Oilers lead it. We'll be right back here in the Forum in just a moment. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Oilers 7 and the Kings 3.
Well, we're getting all kinds of gifts tonight up here from fans. We appreciate it. 7-3 in favor of the Oilers. Pass up to center now on the right wing. Here's Moeller with a drive, and it's wide to the left. Rebound off the boards out to center ice. And Nichols' pass almost stolen in the King zone by Moeller, but the Kings get it to center, and it comes back into the Oilers zone. Here is Lowe to center. He gives it to McTavish across the line. McTavish breaks right between the defense and gets hauled down, and the puck swept into the corner, and there's a penalty coming up against the Kings. McTavish went right down the middle, and the Kings had to take a holding penalty to keep him from scoring, and Tiger Williams going to go to the penalty box. And McTavish and Tiger have a few words, and McTavish puts his arm around him and says, hey, that was a good play, Tiger, because I would have scored on it if you hadn't grabbed me.
Yeah, again, nobody picks up McTavish. 3 Kings there, and McTavish a little head fake, and everybody's following the puck tonight. And then Tiger Williams has to hook McTavish as 3 Kings try and finally push the fallen Oiler behind the goal line. The goal at 3:18. Tiger Williams a hook, and the Oilers go on the power play with
Oh, well, it's the last home game of the regular season, Nick. Here's Rutzelainen. I'm just kind of giving Nick a hard time up here, and I'll let him explain.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
On the right side, the Oilers moving around on the power play now. Here's Ken Nielsen with it. Passes down in deep, and we've got another whistle, and now another penalty coming up here. This will be against the Oilers.
He's looking at Glenn Anderson right in front. I don't know if Anderson was closing through the slot, but he's going to go. 7-3 Oilers. We'll be back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network. Both clubs shy of skater. Oilers were working on the power play. They were 17 seconds into it when Anderson got caught for the slash while setting up in front of Rolly Melanson.
Now Messier in the slot. He shoots wide to the right side, and Melanson scoops it up off the boards. Passes over the right side to Robitaille. Here's Robitaille coming up across the blue line now to the red line. Robitaille still with it into the Oilers zone, trying to get down the right side, taken out of the play by Lowe, and the puck taken by Messier. He skated it right by in front of his own net with the Kings Carpenter into forecheck, and now a pass in front to Robitaille went off his stick right in the slot. Oilers come back. Pass on the left side, chased into the Kings zone by Messier, in deep at a steep angle. He goes behind the net, comes around, and then lost the puck, and then he got pulled down by Kennedy, who got a piece of him. Kennedy passing up to center on the left side, but it went behind Hardy into the Oilers zone, broken up by Huddy. Now to center. Here come the Oilers into the Kings zone. Kent Nilsson looking for his third. He's in front alone. He fakes, and then he fanned out. He faked as he went to the left side, tried to pull it back to the right, and he fanned on the shot, looking for the hat trick.
He didn't fake the goalie out. He faked himself out.
Now here's Carpenter down the left side into the Oilers zone. He's grabbed and cuffed a few times on the helmet by Bukaboom. Bukaboom bumped him, and then while Bobby had his head down, Bukaboom just whacked him on the back of the helmet with his glove a couple of times. No penalty. Fans upset over that, but play continues. 15 minutes to go in the game. 7-3 Oilers. Here's Wells for the Kings, passing on the right side into the Oilers zone. Taylor barrels in. He's bumped in the corner on the right wing side. Puck is loose to Carson. Carson's pass tipped behind the net, and Wells gets bumped there and knocked down by Bukaboom, and they fall on the puck.
Back at the other end a few moments ago, I should say the end where the faceoff's going to be now, Robitaille took a pass off the near boards. He was all alone in the slot. He had his back to the net, and of course down there he probably didn't see that he had a lot of time, and finally dished it off to Carpenter, who wasn't expecting it. Then at the other end, Kent Nilsson puts on the brakes and tries to go for the backhand, but his momentum carried him past the puck as he stopped own zone, and the Oilers just outworking them for those loose pucks. 24-16 the shots in the game here early in the third period. 16 shots for the Oilers and 7 goals.
Now on the draw, the puck comes in the Oilers zone on the right wing boards and is cleared out to center ice by McSorley. Kings take over. Here's Wells. Wells at the blue line, gets it to Carson, but it rolls away from him as he spins to the top of the slot, and the Oilers clear it out to center ice. Messier drives it to the King line. Now loose puck at center ice. Both teams are back at full strength now as the puck rolls down into the King zone. We're going to get an icing call against the Oilers here. 7-3 in favor of the Oilers, and kind of a dispirited third period by both teams, really.
8 other games. Finals: Quebec over New Jersey 8-4. Washington in overtime over Philadelphia 3-2. Buffalo and the Islanders settle for a 6-6 tie. Montreal and Minnesota is out of the playoffs. The Maple Leafs have clinched a playoff berth because they will finish with more points than Minnesota, or I should say with more wins, and that's the tiebreaker.
And now the whistle blows as we had a shot that was wide and came off the boards all the way out in front of the Oiler bench, and we're going to get penalties here with the Oilers ahead 7-3 in the third period. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
right now all three teams have 70 points, but Minnesota's season is done. But if Chicago should lose tomorrow, they will have 70. Minnesota will have 70, but Minnesota will get it based on having 2 more wins than Chicago. So I apologize for that premature statement saying the North Stars are out, but they still have an opportunity. But their season is done. Chicago has to lose tomorrow.
Now play underway again in the Kings zone. Here is Gay trying to clear it. He can't do it. Held in at the left point by Curry on the power play for the Oilers. Pass down to the right wing corner. Oilers control it now. Pass behind the net and a hard check thrown to the corner. Knocks Anderson down. Puck comes to the right point to Ruotsalainen. He drives it behind the net. Oilers still with it now. Messier out to the left point now to the right point to Ruotsalainen. He gives it down the right side to Kent Nilsson. Nilsson into Anderson. Anderson around to Curry. Curry on the left side. Back to Anderson. Anderson behind the King net. Comes around the left side. Power play has 1:08 left to go. Puck is out at the blue line now. Held in by Anderson to the right side to Kent Nilsson. Nilsson feeds it up the middle. Ruotsalainen shooting. It's tipped and gloved in midair by Melanson as it deflected toward the net off Glenn Anderson and was gloved by Rolly Melanson. Who says there's not enough scoring in hockey? 10 goals here tonight, 7-3. Angels beat the Dodgers only 2-1 tonight at Anaheim.
Ruotsalainen letting it go from top of the slot. He didn't get all of it. Fluttered towards Rolly and it deflected once in the air. Rolly picked it out of the air with a glove, and one of the Oilers cruised right in front. Glenn Anderson, he's been all over the place tonight. Really has been a thorn in the side of the Kings. He's been setting up. Melanson was able to hold on and prevent Anderson from getting a rebound.
Face off in the King zone to the left of Rolly Melanson with 13:10 to go in the game. Oilers lead at 7-3. They're still on the power play. Here's Craig Muni. Muni gives it to Dave Hunter. Hunter on the right side feeds it down in the corner to McTavish. Back to the blue line to Muni. Muni sends it to the left side now to Smith. Now down in the corner. Oilers still moving around with 43 seconds left to go on the power play. Here's Muni at the right point. Muni sends it down the right side to McTavish. McTavish top of the right circle still with it. His pass came right between Muni and Smith out to center ice. Smith back to get it. Oilers now have 28 seconds left on the power play. Bobby Carpenter and McKenna up front to kill the penalty with Ledyard and Wells back. Oilers drive it into the King zone. Puck comes around the right wing side. Carpenter had it for a moment. It rolls away from him. Wells with it in front of the net. He's checked by McTavish. Oilers take it away. They got Hunter in front. Can't get it to him. Here's Muni shooting over the net. Rebound goes to Mike Moeller. Moeller on the left side. He gives it to McTavish. 6 seconds to go on the power play. McTavish to Steve Smith. Smith, his shot from the blue line. Tipped on the way in. Saved by Melanson. And Moeller got cleaned out. Pass ahead. Breakaway by Sykes. Out of the penalty box. He shoots. He hit the crossbar. Sykes hit the crossbar. Puck is taken by Nichols. Nichols pass up the middle. Duchesne in front. He shoots. Saved by the goaltender Moog, who got his right skate out. Kings with it again. Ericsson's pass in front. Laidlaw shot tipped wide. And a penalty whistled down here.
Muni and Sykes battling in front. Sykes hits the crossbar. Then Duchesne in the slot with an opportunity. 7-3 Oilers. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
It was that 8-8 tie earlier this year in Edmonton. And you never know in a game like this whether a team can get back in it.
And of course, didn't the Kings come back once from 5-0 after 2 periods?
Yeah. When was that? 82, I believe. Wasn't it in the playoffs?
I seem to vaguely remember that.
Now the Oilers try to clear it up to center ice. It taken away by Bob Bourne, though, and he gives it to Steve Duchesne. He drives it back into the Oilers zone. 11.5 minutes to go in the game, and the Oilers have the power play and a 7-3 lead.
Bob, I think why we've seen so many strange games between these two clubs is that both of them are so offensive-minded, and really anything can happen when you concentrate so much on offense.
Now Duchesne with it, backhands it all the way back down into the Oilers zone. Being back behind the net. Now what do we have there? The goaltender Moog lost his stick. Now the Oilers into the King zone, but it rolls away to Bourne, and he clears it back into the Oilers zone.
Bobby Bourne may be a key for the Kings in the playoffs. He'll kill some penalties, obviously, and he has a lot of playoff experience. 4 Stanley Cups with the New York Islanders, and he's played the Oilers on a couple of occasions for the Cup.
Of course, the same with Dave Langevin, too, if the Kings can get him back. Now Carpenter loses his balance as the puck came to him at the King blue line, but he regained it, passed it back into Kennedy. He sends it out to center and hit the skate of the referee. Oilers with it at center ice. Here they come, left to right. They've got the man advantage across the line. Anderson overskated it. Puck is cleared by McKenna back down into the Oilers zone. 30 seconds left to go, and the King penalty to Phil Sykes that has given the Oilers the man advantage. Oilers have a 7-3 lead. We've had no goals here in the third period so far. Here's Messier into the King zone. He lost it down the middle. Melanson tried to clear it himself, but it hit somebody and stayed in the King zone. Behind the net, here's Kennedy. Kennedy clears it all the way down into the Oilers zone. 10 seconds left to go and 10 minutes left to go in the game. 10 seconds left in the King penalty. Now up to center and on the right wing. Glenn Anderson into the King zone, into Mollard. Anderson saved by Melanson. At point blank range, he stops Glenn Anderson. Kings are back at full strength. Here's Ledyard, Oilers out. Left wing to Williams. He shoots and a save by Moog. And bumping into Moog was Bernie Nichols. Nichols with it to Williams. He shoots and a save again by Moog at point blank. And Williams bumps into Andy Moog. Moog has covered up the puck, though, with the Oilers ahead 7-3. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
The latest from NASCAR, kart, Winston Cup, motocross, and more comes to you starting this Sunday with the debut of...
Now Wells at the left point, but his pass to Ledyard comes out across the blue line to center ice. Ledyard with it, drives it back into the Oilers zone. 9:24 to go in the game. Bob Miller with Nick Nixon, and the Oilers have a 4-goal lead at 7-3. Early in the second period, the Kings on a goal by McKenna had narrowed it to 4-3, but the Oilers got the next 3 goals. Here's Mike Moeller across the King line into the zone. He's checked there. The puck is kicked ahead by Ledyard, but then tipped away. Moeller again in deep. His pass in front, broken up by Wells, and it comes up over the glass into the crowd. Mike Moeller on the right side was trying to get it to McTavish.
Again, the Oilers putting on the pressure, going right after the Kings. Whoever has the puck inside the Kings blue line. Kings bench. Williams comes over along with Kruzhelnyski. We've had a pile of penalties here tonight. Tempers have been short. A lot of coincidental penalties, but no penalties right here. And again, the big cheers. Some fans continue to throw debris on the ice of paper airplane.
Face off to the right of Rolly Melanson in the King zone, and Jimmy Carson on the draw, but the Oilers have it. Kruzhelnyski to left point, now to the middle. Tikkanen with a drive from the slot is wide to the right. Rebound taken by the Kings, cleared by Duchesne to center. Here's Taylor to Carson, right wing. He shoots, and it's over the net off the glass. Hard shot from the right wing by Jimmy Carson. Not on target, though. The Oilers' McSorley clears it to center. Taken by Laidlaw to Patterson. Patterson to Taylor. Taylor to Laidlaw. Laidlaw in the King zone. He sends it over to Duchesne. Up to center ice now. His pass against the boards in front of the Oiler bench. Tipped away by McSorley. Taken now, but we've got Taylor and McSorley upset with one another, and Joe Patterson jumps in between them. So we have 8:31 to go in the game, and the Oilers have a 7-3 lead. This game is coming to you live from the fabulous Forum.
Kings Hockey is brought to you by Miller High Life. Purity you can see, quality you can taste. Miller made the American way since 1885. And by Discount Tire Centers, featuring Michelin tires with over 55 locations for all your brake, shock, and alignment needs. Visit one of their new locations in Tarzana, Thousand Oaks, and downtown Los Angeles.
We're going to get penalties. McSorley and Dave Taylor here at 11:29. After the first period, and we picked them up down at center ice, the Kings had a couple of awards that they presented in front of the sellout crowd. One was the most valuable player, and that went to Rolly Melanson, the goaltender. And the most popular player went to Jimmy.
Yet to be determined, because there's a pretty good race for it, and the unsung hero, goaltender Rolly Melanson. They didn't vote for most popular announcers. Nick and I tied for second. Everybody else was first. Puck is against the right wing boards in the Oilers zone, and the Kings dig it out. Here's Robitaille, goes behind the net, comes around in front with a backhand pass to Carpenter, couldn't tap it in. A pile up in front of the net, and then the puck came off on the right side, is held in by the Kings again. Duchesne into Robitaille, but he overskated it behind the net, and now the right point. Here's Duchesne holding it in. Into Robitaille, tipped it toward the net again with his back to the net, and it went wide to the right. 7:55 to go in the game. Kings are down 7-3. Final game of the season series between these two teams, and the final home game for the Kings. Here's Tikkanen, his pass in the King zone, broken up and cleared up into the King bench. 7:44 to go in the game, and the Oilers have a 7-3 lead.
Laidlaw and Duchesne come off the ice as the Kings make a line change, and you look for bright spots in a game like this. If you're from the Kings standpoint, I should say, Laidlaw and Duchesne have been by far and away the most effective defensive pair for the Kings. They're moving the puck quickly. Duchesne has the ability to carry it out. Laidlaw just never gets in trouble because he reacts quick enough to either flip it out of the zone or hit somebody on the boards or up the middle.
Now in the King zone, the puck slides toward the back of the net. Mark Hardy back to get it. Hardy sweeps it up on the right side, but Charlie Huddy pins it against the boards. Now it's held into the blue line. Driven behind the King net again. Melanson sweeps it around to Tiger Williams. He clears it out to center ice. Chased down by Butsy Erickson. He got stitches over his eye and then got back into the action. Erickson down the right side gets pulled down. Nichols pulled down by Bukaboom. And here's a penalty to Bukaboom coming up. And look out now. Tiger Williams bumps into McClelland. And we really have it's like they're out on the pond in the neighborhood playing now. This game has really deteriorated.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier it looked like maybe the last shot would be the winning goal, but now it looks like neither team wants to be hit. They want to give out the last hit in the game. More penalties here. We've had just a pile of penalties, not just here in the third period, but each period has been penalty filled. The referee tonight, Ron Hogarth, holding is the call on Jeff Bukaboom, the big defenseman, as he tackled Bernie Nichols in the corner to the left of Andy Moog. Bukaboom, 6'4", 210 pounds. It would be about 200 minutes, but it hasn't been that type of game. Just a lot of high sticks and holdings and interferences, a lot of minors, and they've piled up.
Tiger Williams, Butsy Erickson in front. The Wells, he didn't get it. Nichols shoots and a save by Moog. Rebound, backhander by Erickson is blocked on the way in. Boy, Andy Moog, I'll tell you, Nick, he has made some great saves here on the Kings tonight.
Well, I'd say right now the Kings have outchanced the Edmonton Oilers, and they're getting the solid goaltending, which has been a big difference in the game tonight.
Nichols gives it to Erickson, right wing, trying to get around low. Tiger Williams in front alone. He shot and a save made by Moog again. Williams all alone. Nichols with it to the blue line to Ledyard. Ledyard at the right point. Ledyard still with it. Backhand pass broken up and cleared ahead to center ice and down into the King zone.
Tiger Williams could have 3 goals in his last 2 shifts, and he's had outstanding chances with time in front, which is really surprising.
Now an offside pass against the Kings as Bernie Nichols picks it up at center ice. 7-3 Oilers, and I guess, Nick, if you look at positive things in a game, that might be one. That the Oilers have not been all that great in their own zone tonight either. They, as we have said, got good saves by Andy Moog, and a lot of them at point blank range.
Well, that's right. The first period, the Kings and Oilers just about even in the quality opportunities, and Kings management and a lot of hockey clubs keep track of what they feel is a decent scoring chance, and they chart those and keep track of them. And I guess on the average, if you get 4 decent chances, you're going to score on 1 of them. That's how in the third period it's been all Kings, about 7 or 8 to 2.
Kings have outshot the Oilers right now 29-19, but the Oilers 7 goals on only 19 shots. Puck is back behind the King net. They're moving right to left. They've got 56 seconds left to go in the power play. Here's Robitaille to Hardy. Hardy to the Oiler line, into the Oiler zone, goes across the line, has it at the left point, gives it to McKenna. McKenna feeds it down the corner to Carson, over to Robitaille, but a hard pass he couldn't handle. Held in by Duchesne to Robitaille, right wing corner. Robitaille bumped there, gets some help. Puck comes behind the net. Carson goes for it, gives it to Robitaille, tipped away in the slot, and cleared down to center. Chased down by Hardy and McTavish into the King zone. McTavish with it, goes behind the net and hard into the glass. Checked by Hardy. Puck is taken by Mark Hardy. Hardy starts out of the King zone. He leads it ahead to Carson. Here's Jimmy Carson. He's grabbed at center, but he gets a pass over the right side, but offside is Duchesne as Robitaille took the pass. 5:32 to go in the game, and the Oilers have a 7-3 lead. We talk a lot about Carson and Robitaille, but another good rookie, Steve Duchesne. Mike Kruzhelnicki out to take the face-off against Bob Bourne. We got some people in Arizona watching tonight. Matt and Murray say hi to their wives in Phoenix, and yes, they are here at the game. Alex says hi to his brother Mark, watching on KUSK TV in Prescott, Arizona tonight.
You know, Bob, the big thing about the 3 rookies, sure, they're talented. They're putting the puck in the net. They're keeping the puck out of the net in Duchesne's case. But the thing that impresses me is that they're so mature for their age, and they've got nice personalities. They're bright kids, and they're aware.
Here's Laidlaw to Patterson. He shoots, and a glove save by Andy Moog as Joe Patterson fired from the top of the left circle. 5:09 to go in the game. 7-3 Oilers. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
5:09 left. Oilers 7, Kings 3. The last meeting between these two clubs before the playoffs begin Wednesday and Thursday up in Edmonton, Northlands Coliseum for games 1 and 2.
Here's Taylor. His shot from the left circle hit a skate and deflects into the corner. Carson with it. Oilers zone behind the net. Carson wrapped up there. Sykes goes for it. Loose puck. Oilers headed against the boards, and it is cleared out to center ice now with the King power play over. They're 1 out of 8 on the power play tonight. Puck is in the Oilers zone again. Sent off the boards out to center. Yari Curry couldn't handle it. Chasing it down is Dean Kennedy. Kennedy's pass up to center ice and all the way down to the Oilers zone.
Bob, the 1 out of 8 on the power play. The Kings now in jeopardy of not finishing first overall in power play percentage.
Here's Taylor giving it on the right side to Carson to Sykes as he came down the right side. Couldn't get a good shot. Sykes to Taylor. He had Carson in front alone but couldn't get it to him. Puck goes behind the net. Carson goes for it there. Loose puck. Sykes bats at it. Saved by Moog, and bodies all over the place. Carson's in the back of the net on the outside.
I'll say this about the Edmonton Oilers down low around their goaltender, Bob. They're playing it tough and physical. They're laying the lumber on the Kings, and they're jumping them, hitting them, getting in the way of shots, and creating mass confusion time and time again. Of course, they've got some good size on defense this year. Yari Curry coming off 5th consecutive season with 100+ points. Curry, of course, without his center and this year he's slumped to 54.
I want to remind you the playoffs open in Edmonton next Wednesday, April 8th, and Thursday, April 9th. The playoff games here in Los Angeles, Saturday, April 11th. That's a week from today at 2 p.m. And Sunday, April 12th, a week from tomorrow at noon. And there are tickets available for those playoff games at the Forum box office and all Ticketmaster outlets. Kings are in Vancouver tomorrow night to wrap up the regular season. We'll have it for you live on radio and television. KLAC Radio and Prime Ticket tomorrow night at 10 minutes to 7 in Vancouver.
Talking about the size in the Oiler defense, Bukaboom 6'4", 210. Newcomer Muni 6'2", 200. Steve Smith, second year with the club, 6'3", 208 pounds. Randy Gregg will be ready for the playoffs. He's out tonight with a shoulder problem, 6'4", 215. Kevin Lowe, 6'2", 200 pounds.
Keep in mind, if the Oilers get by the Kings and Calgary gets by Winnipeg, it would be those two meeting again. Two big teams, and Calgary this year won 6, lost 1, and tied 1 against the Oilers. They owned them in the season series. Here's Muni back at his own blue line, but I believe, Nick, if I'm right, against Winnipeg, the team Calgary will play in the playoffs, the Oilers are only 2-5 with 1 game left tomorrow night. Here's Joe Patterson ahead to Bourne, 2-on-2. Bourne to center for the Kings down the left wing into the Oilers zone. A penalty for slashing coming up against McClellan, and the Kings will go on the power play for the 9th time tonight, but they're only 1 out of 8. Now we've got Patterson upset again. He kind of shoves at one of the Oilers. 3:41 to go in this game. 7-3 Oilers. Now, Patterson may have gotten a 2-minute minor that's going to take away the King power play.
That's right. Bobby Bourne was carrying the puck down the left wing, and McClellan cuts over. He's not a defenseman. He was coming back, and a pretty good two-hander on the upper right leg of Bob Bourne. Penalty was upcoming. Then at the whistle, we got a little pushing and shoving and talking as Patterson got involved. Now, apparently Patterson is going off the ice surface to the Kings dressing room, and he is getting a penalty. McSorley at center ice having words with Paul Gay and Tom Laidlaw. And McSorley is quite hot, and he's being restrained by his teammates and now the linesman.
Well, he bumped into Tiger Williams, too, and I think that's going to be it for McSorley.
So Ron Hogarth doing a pretty good job at keeping things under control, and he knows the game's been chippy and rough and tough since the opening faceoff, and any nonsense, he's just going to let those particular players either sit it out for the remainder of the game or sit for a spell. So Patterson goes to his dressing room, McSorley to his, and on the scoreboard, McClellan gets the 2-minute minor.
To the man advantage, trailing 7-3 though, with only 3:35 to go in the game. Right point shot by Duchesne, tipped on the way in and wide. Dave Hunter with it for the Oilers. He's bumped by Butsy Erickson in the Oilers zone with a puck whistle dead against the boards. Well, I certainly hope we're going to see a lot better hockey starting next week in Edmonton in the playoffs than we've seen here tonight.
Well, the Kings have to react better inside their blue line. Vancouver on any given night to get 25 or 30, but they came in here the other night and just swamped the Kings. 71 penalty minutes to the Oilers, 55 to the Kings. 126 penalty minutes.
Now the puck taken by the Oilers. McTavish in his own zone. They have a 7-3 lead. He sends it up to center ice, taken away by Duchesne. He gives it to Butsy Eriksson. Passes back into the King zone to Hardy. Now to Eriksson. Now to Hardy. Still in the King zone. Now up on the left side to Bernie Nichols. Nichols pass over on the right to Duchesne. Here is Duchesne sending it into the Oilers zone. Broken up and cleared. Back into the King zone. And Melanson all the way to the blue line. Passing out to center ice over to Butsy Eriksson. Eriksson gives it to Hardy in the King zone with 1:15 to go on the power play. 7-3 Oilers. We've had no goals here in the third period. Puck comes around the left wing boards. Nichols, Oilers zone to Hardy at the left point. Hardy back to Nichols, left side. His shot blocked by Bukaboom. Hardy or Nichols with it again. Nichols pass left side. Eriksson spins in the corner, gives it back to Nichols, top of the left circle. Nichols still with it to the blue line. Now to Eriksson. He shoots wide to the right. Rebound to Hardy. 49 seconds to go on the power play into Tiger Williams. Williams against the right wing boards. Up the middle to Duchesne. Duchesne shovels it to Nichols. Nichols pass to Eriksson. Back to the blue line to Duchesne. Back to Williams. His shot wide. Rebound off the boards. Nichols. Nichols against the left wing side. He drops it for Duchesne. Duchesne's pass in. Up the middle to Nichols now. Nichols shoots over the net. Rebound behind the net with 28 seconds to go on the King power play. And the Oilers fall down on the puck.
Oilers obviously tried to stop play. The Kings were putting pressure on, moving the puck around quickly, and whenever they had the chance, they just fell down. And I think it was Bukaboom this time that just decided to.
Carpenter on the draw for the Kings. Still on the power play for 26 seconds in the Oilers zone. The Oilers with it, can't clear it. Leaping at the blue line to knock it down was Ledyard. Ledyard passing now up the middle. A shot is deflected. The shot by Carpenter, and the Oilers will clear it down into the King zone.
And again, Mark Messier tying up Bobby Carpenter as Carpenter tried to get back into the play and pick up that puck in the slot. But Messier, so big and strong and quick, just continued to tie up Carpenter, and he got some help, and the Oilers cleared it down.
Puck is all the way back in the Oilers zone, and Smith drives it out to center. Oilers are back at full strength now. Puck is across the line to Messier. His pass left side to Krushelnyski. His shot blocked by Wells, but Krushelnyski will it again into the slot. Tipped away, and Robitaille couldn't get it. It rolls out to center. Robitaille with his 45th goal tonight. Only one person in the history of the NHL has scored more goals as a rookie, and that's Mike Bossy with 53. Here's Robitaille with it in the slot. Oilers zone. He shoots, and a save by Moog off his blocker with 1:08 to go in the game. Robitaille tried to send it in front to McKenna, and it's blocked there. Robitaille with his 45th goal is tied with Dale Hawerchuk in second place all time among goals by a rookie. So what a year. Is third with 79 as of right now. Off the draw, the puck comes to the blue line, but off the stick of Duchesne. 1 minute to go in the game. 7-3 Oilers. They're going to win the season series. This will be their fourth win. Kings have won 2, and the other 2 ended in a tie. These two teams open the playoffs on Wednesday in Edmonton. Here is Laidlaw passing up the center now to Taylor. Now comes back deeper into the King zone. Got some paper airplanes in 2 places on the ice, which is really stupid when consider how somebody could get hurt skating over that. There's Hunter for the Oilers taking it away. His shot is wide. Puck taken by Lowe. He holds it in the King zone. 23 seconds to go in the game. Nick will have the post-game show coming up. He'll be interviewing one of the stars of this game. And we'll have the scores of all the other games in the NHL tonight. 1 night left to go in the NHL. That's tomorrow night. Kings will be at Vancouver live on radio and TV at 10 minutes to 7. 6 seconds to go in this game. Puck is in the Oilers zone. Now it comes back in the King zone. Look out, we've got Sykes pushing at the buzzer now. And Phil Sykes by himself against 2 or 3 of the Oilers, and everybody else jumps in. It was Dave Hunter and Sykes pushing at one another, and referee Ron Hogarth telling Sykes to get out of there. And the game is all over as the Oilers dominated this one here tonight, and they win the season series as they defeat the Los Angeles Kings 7-3. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.